But yeah, some news just breaking through. Just hearing the news in regards to Renee Young. Renee Young has signed with AEW. So that news just coming through from Tony Khan. It was a tweet that he's just put out. And as I said, some very, very interesting news that has just come through. I don't know if she's going to be on the show tonight. Her other name is Renee. I don't know how you pronounce it. Paquette? Is it something like that? Signs with AEW. Yeah, big news. Big news. I was sat here ready to start, and then I saw this drop. And I was like, damn, that's pretty big. I know that WWE were hoping that she was going to go back to them, and they were hoping that she would join up with those guys. But she turned them down, and now we know why, because she's decided to go with AEW, which makes a lot of sense, because, of course, she is the partner of Jon Moxley. So, yeah, that's a good signing. Give me a second. I'm just pinging this out, and then I will be jumping back to the chats. Boom, there. Just saw an old Bray Wyatt video. He talked about hunting rabbits, and in another video he said they did whilst talking about the world, says Eric. James said it's a great signing for AEW. It is, isn't it? That is a great signing. Like, I really was hoping that she was going to go back to WWE. I remember I can't remember if it was in that video, but we did a video of now Triple H has took over. Now Triple H is in charge. Like, who do you want to see come back? And one of the names that I know that we were referring to was Renee Young. And she does such a good job. I've said before, I would love to get a female commentator on, a female voice on commentary. Renee was never quite comfortable with it, but I thought she did all right. And I think she could have really got somewhere with experience and, time. But the thing is, when you're in that role, it's sort of sink or swim. And I don't think she ever really felt like she was swimming. And so she didn't really enjoy it. But I thought she was fine. I would love to get a female voice back on commentary. Didn't have to be her, but if she'd have come back and done that, I thought that would have been fine. If she'd have come back and done pre-show kind of kickoff show things, I thought that would have been good. If she was going to come back and do backstage interviews, I think it would have brought some credibility. I mean, you've got JR, you've got Tony Schiavone, like, you've got names, but I don't know. They feel like they're a bit long in the tooth. Like, they don't feel like they quite jive, quite fit with current wrestling. It seems like JR doesn't really enjoy the AEW, or not all of the AEW product. And it feels like Tony is, dare I say, just there for the ride. Like, I really don't know what he adds to the show. His name, basically, is what he adds. The fact that he goes back to WCW and, Tony Schiavone is just one of those kind of names and a classic broadcaster. He brings experience and he brings his name. But outside of that, does he really add to the show? I really don't know, but you'd have to say that Renee definitely will. Definitely will. I was always a big fan of her work. So, yeah, I think that's a really good signing. A really good signing. So, look, they've gone out. They've got Page. They've gone out. They've got Renee Young. They're making some good moves. We just need to make sure Page is being presented correctly. And I thought that there was some better stuff regarding Page last week. And as I said, I don't know when we'll see Renee. I mean, we will see Renee, but I don't know if that's going to be tonight. But yeah, good signing. Good signing. Ariel Helwani called AEW superfans freaks, said 420 Benton. I watched the Ariel Helwani. I've actually got it written down. Ariel Helwani comments. Other things to talk about. Chelsea Green is wanted by WWE. NXT did 737,000 in the ratings. Wardlow is Wardlow and Samoa Joe. Apparently they're joining forces tonight. Dustin Rhodes teasing retirement, and Ariel Helwani comments. Ariel Helwani was saying, that the interview he did with Tony Khan was one of the most frustrating interviews that he's ever done, because Tony was giving him no answers whatsoever. He's like, even if you just turned around and said, look, MJF, I'm so pleased he's part of our team, you know, looking forward to a bright future with him. Like, even if you just want to not actually answer the questions and just provide something like that instead, then, you know, fine, whatever, so be it. But he was saying, like, you know, give me something more than that. Give me something more than like, you know, just sitting there saying no comment. So, yeah, he was a bit down on Tony, and that kind of led then to him talking about how good the different companies are, and he was saying that WWE is definitely a better product at the moment. He said, if you say that it's not, you're lying. He kind of got quite into it, actually. He kind of got really quite worked up and a bit animated about it. Like, I don't know, I feel like he's got quite strong feelings on the subject. Not about who's better, but I think the Tony Khan interview did genuinely upset him. So yeah, I was quite surprised by some of his comments, but I think there's probably a little bit more of a backstory to it, if you know what I mean. So it is what it is. What was he supposed to say? Half the questions were about legal issues, says Esteban. Well, as Ariel said, like, why couldn't he just turn around and say, I'm really pleased for, you know, MJF to be part of the team? Like, even if you can't talk about the specifics, give us your feelings on it. Like, give me something on it. Like, even if you can't talk about the legality of it, there's nothing really stopping you saying, well, I was really disappointed about, you know, everything that transpired. There's an investigation into it, and I can't really say any more than that. Apparently he was just like no commenting everything, and Ariel's point was, what's the point in coming on if you're not going to answer any of the questions? And if you can't answer the questions, at least give me something to work with. Ariel said that his takeaway was that he doesn't think Tony Khan actually likes him, and apparently there's been a few words exchanged in the past, and he's kind of a bit on the fence as to whether that actually played a part in why, you know, it went the way that it went. So I mean, look, could be something, could be nothing, could be, as you said, you know, what could Tony say? He couldn't really add a great deal to a conversation about things that he can't talk about legally. But saying that, you know, could he have provided a bit more? What thing he was saying was, what Ariel was saying was that other people have come on and spoken about things that are legal, and they found a way to, you know, give him something to have a conversation about. So yeah, I think he was just a bit frustrated. Right, let me go over to this page, change that over so that that's set up good. Here we go. Tony is scared of Triple H and Jolly St. Nick, says Bryan. Daniel said, I can see why Tony at times was reluctant to not answer some of the questions, talking about backstage fights and stuff. There's too much news out about that for Tony to continue to talk about it. Espen said, that's basically what he did. Ariel is working. I listened to the interview, and they were both working a feud. Okay. AK said, Booker T is the only one from WWE backstage left, sucker. Rob said, what's the best way to contact you directly? I mean, to be honest, there's no real great ways, because my emails I'm drowning in them. I just can't get through them at the moment. I just get bombarded with loads of, like, I get a lot of companies wanting to, like, sponsor and do stuff on the channel, which is brilliant, but it's not something that we've really ever leaned into, and I've only ever done it if it's something that I really believe in. The only thing we've ever done in regards to that is UFC Strike, which we did during UFC streams, and I genuinely like that. I mean, they are not sponsoring this, so I can speak openly and freely, and I genuinely thought their product was really good. So that's why I was quite happy to talk about that. But I get, like, emails from people wanting me to talk about, I don't know, Age of Castles or some kind of mobile game. Do you know what I mean? It's like, not feeling that. So, yeah, my emails get kind of bombarded with that. And then I just get loads of do you get loads of spam? I get so much spam. It's so much spam. I get like Facebook notifications, Twitter notifications, YouTube comments going into my emails, and I try turning them off and then they come back again, and I don't know, I'm just drowning them. So the email might be a good way, but no, that or like, I don't know, Twitter direct comments maybe. Trini said, here's the thing. AEW backstage drama is already public, and it's hard to close the door on the topic without an explanation or resolve. Toni is going to have to speak on it eventually. Esteban said the heat stems from the MJF interview that wasn't cleared by AEW, and they spent the first 5 minutes talking about that. But please read. I thought I would say hello. My work course. I hate missing streams. I hope you are not mad. No, I'm not mad at all. Hope work is going well, Edwards. Tom said, let's talk about Wyatt 6. Fire away. I'm here to talk about whatever you want to talk about. We've done a lot of Wyatt 6 talking, a lot of Bray Wyatt talking. I'm quite happy to talk further on the subject. If you want to talk AEW, I'm happy to talk about that. If you want to talk about Ariel Helwani's comments, if you want to talk about NXT's ratings, if you want to talk about Chelsea Green, if you want to talk about Dustin Rhodes, I'm here. I'm here for whatever you want to talk about. Seb said, I can't read that because the thing popped up. William Libram, shout out to you, my friend. Appreciate the support. So, William, thank you. Did I mention Bacon Time 1, 2, 3, 4? I'm not sure that I did, but Bacon Time 1, 2, 3, 4. Shout out to you as well, bud. So David Hunt at the start of the stream showing some support, showing some love. Bacon Time 1, 2, 3, 4, and as I just said, William Lebron as well. Shout out to you. James says, wonder what Toni thought about the Wyatt return. That was insane, that return. Well, I believe the question was put to him. I did not watch the full hour and whatever, so I'm not sure if Toni did provide an answer to that or not. But I can only imagine he was impressed. He's got to say he's impressed. If he doesn't say he's impressed, then people are going to turn around and say, oh, you're just a hater. And if he does say that he's impressed with it, then then people will rub his face in it. It's kind of a bit of a no-win situation, isn't it, really? He's either got to praise his competition, which WWE fans will love kind of throwing back at him, or he's got to say he didn't like it, and then everyone will just be like, surely he's lying. Surely that's petty kind of a thing. So I do feel sorry for him at times. He is in a no-win situation. Asib said, I don't know how you feel about AEW, but I feel they lack a lot of star power at this moment in time. I don't know that they lack star power. Just because, I mean, tonight we've got Jericho, we've got Danielson, we've got Britt Baker, who I feel like she's probably the biggest female that they've got. We're going to hear from MJF. So I feel like they do have stars. Yes, we could definitely do with Kenny Omega, CM Punk, Young Bucks, we could definitely do with that missing star power, if you will. I just think that a lot of the stories are a bit bland. A lot of the stories I'm just not really feeling. Like, for example, Jericho Danielson tonight, it's the third time they're facing. That I honestly don't know what build it's had. I don't know why we're doing this third match. Like, people can shout at me and say, oh, it was made last week, blah, 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 blah. The fact of the matter is, I'm sitting here right now and I don't know why we're doing a third match. I don't know where it's come from. I can't remember it being made. And so I did not go into this week's show expecting Jericho Danielson. There's been a story. The focus here has been about which side is Garcia going on. And I don't care. I just don't care. Garcia, if he wants to be a sports entertainer, be a sports. If you want to be a wrestler, be a wrestler. His conflict about who do I side with, I don't give a flip. Make your mind up. You're a grown man. So I feel like the stories just are not that captivating at the moment. I don't care about the Garcia thing. We've seen this match twice before. I certainly don't mind watching it a third time. I'm not moaning about that. But what I am having a little grumble about is that this has not been the focus of this story. It's not as if we've been building Jericho Danielson 3 for a few weeks and now here it is. Because the focus of this story has largely been Garcia. And I don't even remember this match being made. So, and as I said, people can go, oh, you're stupid. Don't you remember last week? No, I don't. No, I don't. And that's a problem. So, like, as I said, this has not been, like, built in for several weeks. So here we are. That's the biggest match tonight. And I think it could have been booked better. Pac against Orange Cassidy. I just don't care. I just don't care about that. I mean, again, I just don't care. Billy Gunn against Swerve. I'm actually into that because the Acclaimed are amazing. And the Acclaimed and Swerve and Keith Lee, they're in a feud. Billy Gunn is obviously daddy ass, and seeing him and seeing the crowd reaction to him, that's going to be good, right? So I'm down for that. Toni and Shida versus Britt and Hayter. Well, Toni is the interim champ. Britt is, probably the biggest woman in the division. Jamie Hayter's a massive rising star. I don't hate that match, to be honest, but is that a reason to tune in for this week's show? Interestingly, they're calling Jungle Boy Jack Perry. So it's Jack Perry versus Luchasaurus. Now that's had a decent build. I'll give him that. That's had a decent build. That is quite interesting. So the only thing I would say is that Jungle Boy's promos have felt a little bit lacking. And maybe this story has been going on a little bit too long. Maybe this thing has been dragged out a little bit too much. I don't think that's been helped by Luchasaurus turning on Jungle Boy, joining back with Jungle Boy, and then turning on Jungle Boy again. Like, I don't think that helped. So maybe we've stretched this out too long, but either way, we're here. So yeah, that's all right. I think it could have been a little bit more focused, the build for this. But I would say that of everything here, that's had one of the stronger builds. And then we're going to hear from MJF tonight as well, which is always good. So, I would say a bit of a mixed bag tonight. I feel like what tonight is lacking is really, that big match, that big focus. With Roman, he starts the show. And then, there's a little story that runs throughout, and then it'll probably lead, him or someone in the bloodline will probably be in the main event of SmackDown. And then, something else might get set up for the next week, and you can kind of follow the story. I feel like they don't have that one focus. I feel like they're trying to showcase a lot of different things, which has got positives and negatives. It's got positives because it means that you're sharing the spotlight, but it's got negatives because it means that, nothing feels like it's the major focus. Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, that should be the main event tonight. We should know it's the main event, and everything tonight should be all about that match. And it should be, finally, Jungle Boy gets his hands on Luchasaurus. But to be honest, that is probably not the main event. And it's having to share a card with Jericho Danielson 3. And, I don't know how much of a spotlight that's going to get. So if that's not the main focus, then, maybe it should be Jericho and Danielson. But as I said, involved in that feud is Garcia, who's been taking some of the focus away from these guys. There's actually another element here that's been getting, dare I say, more of the focus than either of these two. So, and he's not involved in the match. So I don't know. It feels like some of the stories are not that strong. Maybe because we focus on so many at the same time. Also because I think things could play out on Rampage. I don't watch Rampage. And people can say, oh, you should be watching Rampage. Should you? Really? I really don't know that you should. I think that if you watch every Wednesday, then you should be able to keep up with the stories. And, good recaps and everything. You can easily do that. And I think that's an area of weakness for them. So star power, you can definitely say is a concern. But I would say that some of these matches should be feeling bigger because they should have had more focus and they should have been built a little stronger. It's just like, wow, we're just focused on so many different things that by the time you get here, the cards doesn't look too bad. But how much do you really care about the matches? Like, there's going to be hardcore AEW fans that watch Dark, Elevation, Rampage, Dynamite. They keep up with all the tweets. They keep up with everything, right? So for them, this is going to be juicy stuff, yeah? This is going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, brilliant. Can't wait for tonight. But I think if you're a casual AEW fan, and I absolutely class myself as a casual fan, I am not an AEW hater. I think it's brilliant. There's another place for people to work. I think it's brilliant that we've got this kind of competition because I think that forces WWE to raise their game. Competition is actually a really good thing. So I think like AEW brings a lot of positives, and I think they've had some incredible matches. Some of my favorite matches in recent years have been AEW matches, but I do think that the booking, it keeps coming back to the booking, and I don't want to sound like I'm just copying what everyone else says. I don't want to sit here and just sound like, oh, you're only saying that because everyone says it's the booking, but I mean, I've just sat here and told you how I feel about the match cards and why I think it should feel bigger and more important, and there should be more spotlight on certain matches here. And that is down to Tony Khan. That is down to his booking. So, yeah, I would agree that they do need a bit more star power, but I think it's deeper than that. There's the problems are in the booking. Mitchell, shout out to you, my friends. Hope you are well. Mitchell says, hi, buddy. Hi, buddy. Hope you've had a good day. I know we DM'd about this, but could you elaborate more on Bray putting on a solid wrestling match versus a paranormal match with theatrics? Could Bray put on a 5-star Taker WrestleMania 25-star match? Okay, so anything that's going to involve theatrics is going to immediately alienate a chunk of the audience. I would argue a good chunk of the audience, right? It's well documented. I'm not a fan of supernatural wrestling. I'm not a fan of theatrics, if you want to word it that way, right? I don't like it because I just think it's not a level playing field. That's what it keeps coming back to for me. It's not a level playing field. You know, if you have like Wyatt going up against Gunther, like, and Wyatt's going to use supernatural powers, what's Gunther meant to do? Like, what's Gunther meant to do? I mean, Gunther works hard, hits the gym. He's a monster. You know, he's chopping people. He's taking punishment, but he's got vulnerabilities and weaknesses. And we've seen moments where he's been vulnerable and he's been down and he's selling, and that emotion, those moments of vulnerability are so important in wrestling, because if you're rooting for someone to win and they're on the verge of losing, it's just a real easy way of you like caring and be like, no. Like when The Undertaker was about to lose his streak, people would be like on the edge of their seat, but they'd be standing screaming at the TV no, because The Undertaker was not using any theatrics or anything during his streak. He was vulnerable, down, and, you know, getting like on the verge of being beaten. And could Bray deliver something like that? Yes is the answer. Bray could. Bray absolutely could. I don't see any reason as to why Bray Wyatt can't deliver a 5-star classic. I don't see any reason, right? Because if you was to sit down and map the match out a la Macho Man, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, yeah? Think WrestleMania 3, that whole match was mapped out by Macho Man and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Think about Bret Hart versus British Bulldog. British Bulldog, at the start of that match, SummerSlam main event, told Bret he was screwed. He was like, I'm gassed out. He told Bret, I can't remember any of the spots and I'm gassed out. Imagine being Bret Hart in that main event of SummerSlam 92, Wembley, yeah? And you know how big this match is. Not even so much for you, but it is for you because it's got to be one of the biggest crowds Bret ever wrestled in front of. But not only just for you, but also for Davey, for family, who's in the main event of this Wembley thing, and he's telling you that he can't remember anything, and he's gassed, right? That is quite a situation to find yourself in. And what Brett did was he told Davey the spots as they were happening, just as they were going through. He called the whole match throughout that match. And all Davey had to try and do was just make sure that he could get his body through it, basically. If he could just physically hold in there. Davey at that point he'd been on benders. He was addicted to painkillers. He was a mess. Davey Boy Smith was a mess. Look at the quality of that match. That match is regarded as one of the greatest SummerSlam matches of all time. And one of the participants was done, was gassed, was out, right? So you give Bray Wyatt the right dancing partner. You give Bray Wyatt the right person to go up against. Someone that, I don't want to say can perform the Bret Hart role, but someone that can more than hold their end of the match. An AJ Styles, yeah? Someone along those lines. A Johnny Gargano, yeah? Someone along those lines that we have seen prove that they can hold their end of the bargain and more. Then, and it's mapped out in advance, and it's got drama in there, and it's got like close pinfalls. As long as the build is good, the match matters. And, you know, you can have your big entrances. I love the big entrances. If you want to, when I talk theatrics, I don't talk about anything outside of the ring. As soon as that bell rings, it should be Mano versus Mano. Yeah, it should be two guys going up against each other, battling to find out who is the best. That's what this comes down to. Who is the best? Who is the better man? And you've got to show weakness. You've got to show vulnerabilities. You've got to have selling. You've got to have all of those moments within a match, because that is how we care. That is how we get brought in. That is how, if you're a Bray fan and he's down in the corner in pain, this is where the Fiend mask was a barrier. I'm sorry to say it was a barrier. I'm not saying that the Fiend character wasn't cool, but any mask that completely covers the face is a barrier, because you can't see their emotions on the face. You can't see the selling. You can't see the pain that they're going through. They might be able to use their body language to get that message across. But if you can't see the face, then that's a big aspect of it that's not there. And that's a big kind of sell. That's where you get a lot of your emotion out. And that plays a big part when we're judging wrestlers and how good matches are and how good wrestlers are. We're looking at all of these different things. We're looking at moveset. We're looking at emotion and storytelling. We're looking at not only like the execution of the moves, but if it's got a nice pace to it, a nice flow to it. You know, does it stutter in places? Do they get lost at any point? But like the emotion of it and the drama of it, the selling that's in there as well. Like there's so many different facets that go into a great wrestling match. I mean, you've seen a billion great wrestling matches. I've seen a billion great wrestling matches. We all know what a great wrestling match looks like. And we all know the journey that we go on when we're watching one. I don't see any reason why a superstar as popular as Bray Wyatt would not be capable of putting on a match that people can get emotionally lost in, emotionally invested in, and could not be regarded as one of the better matches on whatever show it happened on. Yeah, he's just got to have the right dancing partner. And, you know, the flip side of that would be that he is just an unbeatable monster who just goes in there and beats people up, lights go out, come back on again. He's completely changed his attire. Like whatever, lights go out, come back on, there's 5 people in the ring. I mean, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I personally don't see the emotional connection to that. I don't see how that gets regarded as a fantastic match. I don't get how that gets regarded as like an incredible encounter. Like, because it's just nonsense at the end of the day. It's just nonsense. So for me, that's what I look for. I think that to say that he's not capable of it, I think is doing him a real disservice. I think it's doing him a real disservice. I think that he is more than capable. It's just that for whatever reason, he's just not had the right dancing partner, or the creative of the matches he's been in has just not allowed him to do that. But hopefully with the freedom that he's got now, that is absolutely what I'm looking for. Because I just think that for his legacy, he needs that. I mean, Undertaker would not have been as popular if his in-ring hadn't has been as good, right? His in-ring, the quality of the matches that he was putting on, you know, I mean, the move, a lot of people were saying like, yeah, well, can you name a great early Undertaker match? Just the sheer fact that he was walking on the top ropes. I mean, you look back at that now and you're like, yeah, I saw it 1,000 times. But back in the early 90s, the idea that he would grab someone's arm, walk along the top ropes, balancing, and then come crashing down with that big clubbing blow, the devastating tombstone finisher that he used to hit, like these little moments, if you will, that kind of make up the Undertaker, they are taken for granted now. But back in the day, they were significant, they were different, and they were cool. They were really cool. So it's hard sometimes to look back and say, yeah, well, that was a good match, because with kind of our modern eyes, you might look at it and go, nah, it's not that good. But that's because a lot of the things now get taken for granted. Unless a wrestler does a billion moves, 1,000,000 miles an hour, it's kind of hard for modern eyes to go back and look at older wrestling and to, I think, really appreciate it. But a lot of what Undertaker did in the early days was slow, it was methodical, but it was a change of pace. Like, he would move slow and everything, but then there would be moments where he would quicken the pace just momentarily, and then like do some of that amazing stuff like walking the ropes, tombstones, choke slams. You know, this was a moveset you just wasn't really seeing from other people, and it really, really made him stand out. So a lot of his matches really caught attention in the early days. And then once he started getting some really juicy feuds, you know, we spoke about Mankind, we spoke about Vader, we spoke about Kane, of course. You know, some of these like really juicy feuds, and certainly his WrestleMania matches really then started to deliver on a different level. I mean, his match against Triple H at, say, WrestleMania 17, just that brilliant, just absolutely brilliant. And then as you get further into his streak, I genuinely think you could go WrestleMania 24. I mean, 24 was against Edge. It's a great match. 25 is maybe my favorite WWE match of all time. 26 is not far behind. 27 was fantastic, but I would say of the four, it was probably the weakest. And then 28 is right up there, end of an era, the Hell in a Cell, where Shawn Michaels is special guest referee. I mean, it's the storytelling in that is insane. It's insane. So I just think it's doing Bray a real disservice to not think that he can't deliver something on that level. I don't know if he can do it consistently. He'll need the right dancing partner, and it will need the right story to be told and the right creative. But yeah, he can do it. And I really hope he does, because I think if there's a big criticism for Bray, it's that his promos are amazing. His vignettes are amazing. The creativity around him and the characters that he create are amazing. But then the bell rings. And it sadly leaves a lot of people underwhelmed. You don't see Bray Wyatt being spoken about as a great in-ring competitor. And that is a real big misstep. Not necessarily on Bray's part, but potentially on WWE's part, because how have they not been able to find a way of giving him a fantastic match? They took Ronda Rousey, who had little to no pro wrestling experience, put her in a tag match at WrestleMania 34, and it's one of the best matches of that show. Like, people were going crazy. Logan Paul, who little to no experience with wrestling. He's got wrestling experience, but not pro wrestling experience. Look at what he was able to achieve at SummerSlam. Now, yeah, you can look at it and go, well, he's athletic. Look at his physique. It shouldn't make a difference. Just because, like, he's got a great physique and he's very athletic. That means he can do the certain moveset that he did. Bray Wyatt doesn't need to do that moveset. Bray Wyatt doesn't need to do a frog splash to the Miz who's on the commentary table on the outside. He doesn't have to do that to have a great match. There's other ways of having a great match, but how have WWE not been able to put those pieces together? Because I blame them for that. That's on WWE. Every match has a producer. So why have the producers not been able to unlock that? Don't know. I genuinely don't know. I genuinely don't know. But I don't think it's that Bray can't wrestle. I certainly don't believe that. So, yeah, I hope that we see a lot of classics from this run. I really would love that. I really would love to see some Bray classics. I want to see some matches that we can go back and watch again. Go back and really enjoy, because I feel like a lot of people go back and watch Fiend matches because they love the Fiend and they love the entrance. I don't know that they really care about the matches. I mean, like his match with Daniel Bryan is the one that I say is probably his best. That strap match, I thought they did that quite well. But again, look at that. Look at that. One of his best matches was when he had a great dancing partner. One of his best matches is when he's in there with Daniel Bryan. So how about we give him AJ Styles? How about we give him Johnny Gargano? How about we give him, like, we can build some reasons for it. We can easily make it work at some point. I'm not saying straight away, but I'm just saying, you know, put him in there with some people that know their way around a wrestling ring and plan it, actually sit down and go through the spots, even have a bit where there's a bit of outside interference towards the end and, you know, maybe it doesn't pay off and just raises the stakes. Another thing as well, I mean, if you had loser leaves WWE, how about this? Loser leaves WWE, whoever loses has to leave, and you do AJ Styles versus Bray Wyatt, and high stakes, big match, really build it up, and actually sit down and plan it out, plan it how it's going to go, right? And have Bray Wyatt win. But could you imagine the Bray fans and how much they would be bricking it every pinfall? Can you imagine the heightened drama of every pin if they thought that Bray Wyatt was on his way out of the WWE? You know, you could easily make out that his contract was coming like to, you know, it was a 12-month contract. So leaked details to the dirt sheets that it's a 12-month contract. He won't sign any longer than that because he wants to do movies or something, yeah? So it's a 12-month contract. He won't sign any longer. This time next year, loser leaves WWE. Do it, I don't know, Extreme Rules next year, for example. Main event, AJ Styles versus Bray Wyatt. And, you know, like everyone would go in nervous because the dirt sheets are saying that Bray's contract is up. Dirt sheets are saying that his contract is not going to be extended. Yes, would it be difficult to keep the truth out of the dirt sheets? Sure. But, you know, all you can do is try, isn't it? That's all you can do. Obviously, Bray will play along. I don't know how many people are privy to those kind of contract details. So, you could try and give that a go. And then, like, you know, high stakes, big match, main event, big build, sit down, plan the spots, have someone come down trying to screw Bray over. Imagine the fans when someone came down and you thought that someone was about to cost Bray his job. Like, it would be crazy, man. I can't see why that wouldn't work, but he's never put in those situations. And for the record, Bray would win, of course. Bray would win. And people, I understand people are like, yeah, well, what do you do with AJ then? There's been a million loser leaves matches. Yeah, we always find a way. Sonya Deville lost a loser leaves WWE match. Right, do you know what I mean? Like, you find a way. There's a way forward. So, yeah, I think you could definitely build it. If you build it, they will come. I hope that answers your question. I feel like we spent about 15 minutes on that. William, shout out to you, dudes. Appreciate it. And Big Time Baxter as well. Let me see if I can find Big Time Baxter. There it is. Check a tweet that I tagged you in 5 minutes ago. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Bang, 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 bang. Big Time Baxter. Are you on there as Big Time Baxter, though? Will I find you as Big Time Baxter? I can't see one. I mean, I've got one for quarter-hour ratings for Raw, segment by segment. I've got... What's this? Something about Zero News? Zero News. I don't know what that is. Zero News link to their video. James, appreciate it. James let me know about Renee Young. Very cool. Yeah, I don't know what you want me to look at, but the lack of excitement for AEW is a far cry from where we were, says Jean Knight. Dave, shout out to you. Brenton, shout out to you. I hope you are well. Whilst we're just waiting for this to start, we got 14 minutes to go. Let's just blast down the match card, and then I'll jump down the chat. So Jericho versus Danielson 3 tonight. We got Pac versus Orange Cassidy. We got Billy Gunn taking on Swerve Strickland. We got Toni Storm and Hikaru Shida taking on Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. We got Jack Perry, and as I said, very interesting. He's not being classed as Jungle Boy. Jack Perry taking on Luchasaurus. And we are going to be hearing from MJF. The other thing as well, just before we started, Joe, which is Wardlow and Samoa Joe, being put in a tag team. Apparently they're a thing now. That's a thing now. So we're going to be seeing something to do with those guys. And yes, Dustin Rhodes coming out saying that he is starting to feel it and very much teasing that he might have to step away very soon. So Dustin Rhodes might be calling it quits at some point. Trini said, I'm happy for Renee. I like her and she's an asset for sure when it comes to PR. However, AEW can't feature its rostered talent and they're still hiring big names for pops. Yeah, the only thing I would say is that Renee is obviously going to be someone that can be on screen to be with that talent, though. So she is clearly not going to take time away from anyone. She'll be on screen with people. So, you know, if you want to get Jamie Hayter over, then sit down. Plus, also, don't forget, she's got her own kind of show, hasn't she? Well, I can't remember what it's called, but Unspoken or something. But she has got her own outlet. And, you know, look, this is something that wrestling companies do. If you've got your own show, then that seems to be very attractive to wrestling companies because then they can get their superstars onto your show. So I don't know what her reach is like. I don't know how big her YouTube podcast is, but I'm sure that they'll be looking to get AEW stars onto that. I would imagine she probably had good access to them anyway, but what with her being featured on the show, it's only going to help raise the profile of her podcast and everything anyway. So yeah, I would imagine they'll look to utilize that. So I feel like this is a bit different because it's not going to take time away from anyone. She's going to be there to help put people over really and interview people and I don't know, just bring a bit more credibility to the kind of backstage interviewers and the hosts. So I'm here for it. Big Time Baxter said leaked Raw numbers. There was a big spike for Good Brothers. Okay. I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, are people really going to be turning it on at that moment because the Good Brothers are coming out? I don't know. I don't know how much you can really read into that. I mean, is that the Good Brothers or is that Judgment Day? Is that Judgment Day and Dominic? Is that Good Brothers who we didn't even know was on the show, or is that Judgment Day and Dominic that have boosted that? So I don't know that I can put that plus 20 in that fifth quarter I don't know that I can put that down to Good Brothers, to be honest. I mean, look, if that's going to continue when Good Brothers are on screen, then you could maybe start to make a case for it. But I feel like we're doing Judgment Day and Dominic a disservice by not giving them some credit for that segment, because there was no reports that Good Brothers were coming in that night. The reports were that they were on the way with WWE, but I don't know. I'm not feeling that as the reason for it. Days, it's not work. It's a course to help me get a job. Okay. But do you think Danielson will take the belt off Jericho, says Brent? And if not, does that hasten Danielson's eventual heel turn? I don't care. I don't give a flip about these Ring of Honor belts. I don't think they should be there. This would be like having the NXT belts on Raw and SmackDown, and without even an NXT show. Imagine no NXT. There isn't an NXT, but the NXT belts are on Raw and SmackDown, and then like we're meant to care. And I don't. I've never watched Ring of Honor. I appreciate Ring of Honor. I know bits about its history. I'm aware of Ring of Honor. I'm aware of like former champions, but I'm certainly not going to be able to sit here and tell you about iconic feuds and how the stories played out and things along those lines. I just don't care. I don't care who's champion. I don't care who has the Ring of Honor belts. They mean nothing to me. They don't mean anything to me. Should they? No, I don't think they should, to be honest. Not unless there's a Ring of Honor show and I'm given a reason to care. So I don't. If not getting the Ring of Honor championship is going to lead to Danielson turning heel, considering Blackpool Combat Club, I believe, was started before Ring of Honor was purchased anyway? Like, I feel like he should have bigger things on his agenda. I feel like bringing in young talent, working with young talent within the Blackpool Combat Club, and trying to teach and pass on like his wrestling knowledge and train up the next generation. Like, I feel like that's what Danielson is focused on. I don't even know why we're fighting for a Ring of Honor belt. Like, I don't know. So yeah, I'm not feeling it. Human Gaming, shout out to you, my friend. Welcome back. I hope you are well. Feel free to put comments in the chat. Feel free to put comments in the chat. To be fair, Good Brothers return was the most viewed clip on the WWE YouTube channel. Yeah, well, any return would be. Listen, I'm not down on the Good Brothers. I'm just not into the idea of saying that they're responsible for some massive spike in ratings when I'm not convinced that they are. Any return is going to attract attention. Let's have a look. So, I mean, I'm looking at it right now. This Damage Control. So, Gallows and Anderson return against AJ to help AJ. That did 1.4 million. So, 1.4 million views. It's actually the same as Brock Lesnar returns. So, Brock Lesnar returns. That also did 1.4. And Bobby against Seth did 1 million. So, they're 400,000 above Bobby versus Seth. They're level with Brock Lesnar returning. Brock Lesnar returning. It's not like he's returning from a long time ago. Last time we saw him was SummerSlam. So, I don't know. And I mean, they've been gone for a long time. Last time we saw them was in the Boneyard match at WrestleMania 36. So they've actually been gone for over... You're bringing back some superstars that have been gone for over 2 years. Last time we saw them was the Boneyard match. I believe they were cut just after that. So it's well over 2 years. Well over 2 years. We've brought back a team. It's been brought back for well over 2 years. Numbers that they do on YouTube is 1.4 million, which is the same as a Brock return, and about 400,000 above Bobby versus Seth. So, I don't know. I just don't feel like it's a monumental thing. I don't feel like the numbers are showing that it's a monumental thing. I mean, it's interesting when you look at the Raw breakdown and you look at the 15-minute segments. Clearly, the Judgment Day segment has got a nice increase in it. But my point remains, I think we're doing a bit of a disservice to the Judgment Day story, which has actually been very good and very compelling, certainly since Dominic joined them. Since Dominic joined them, and you've had the Dominic and Rhea Ripley relationship and the Pappy thing, certainly him turning on his dad as well. I kind of feel like that has got to carry some of the weight. I think you don't bring Good Brothers back in that segment. I bet you anything that is still one of the best performing segments. There's no way I can prove it, but I think that story, just look at how well the story is going and look at some of the stuff they're doing. I think that's still one of the best performing segments. Did the Good Brothers return add to it? Sure. Yeah, I wouldn't dispute that. But I'm not going to give them credit for that whole segment. No way. Mark B. Television said, would you be surprised if Liv Morgan joined Wyatt's crew? No. No, I wouldn't, because I think she's a good fit. She's apparently in a relationship with Bo Dallas. I think if you want a female in that group, I think Liv Morgan's a great shout. I think Alexa's a great shout. I think Nikki ASH is a great shout. I tell you who I wondered about as well, and that's Chelsea Green, because there's rumors today that Chelsea Green is going back. So Chelsea Green is on her way back to, potentially on her way back to WWE. Apparently they really do want to bring her in. Triple H wants to bring her in. She is someone that's always been like the crazed, jilted bride, isn't she? I mean, I've seen her with her hair all messed up and like a wedding dress on and her makeup all smudged. And you could definitely look at that and see it fitting in with like a Wyatt family. Let me see if I can find like an image of what I'm referring to. If I look at like Chelsea Green, obviously there's lots of her just looking very attractive, but she was doing like this kind of jilted bride thing, which definitely I think could fit. Let's have a look. When you search for her, you just get lots of her wearing skimpy attire. Go. I mean, here's an image. Bum, 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 bum. There. So, you see what I mean? Like with the makeup all kind of smudged. And, I mean, I could see her in a black dress with a veil and smudged makeup and everything. I'm not saying that she is going to join them. I'm not sitting here saying that. I'm just saying that it's just interesting. I mean, listen, what are the recent acquisitions that WWE have been like going out and getting? They've been going out and getting Braun. They've gone out and potentially got Vincent and Dutch, and they look very interesting. They've gone out and got Bo Dallas, and now the latest one today is Chelsea Green. Now, Chelsea Green might not be connected at all, but I do think that you can take a moment and just go, would she fit in with them? Would that work? And I feel like you could make it work. You could make it work. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's her. I'm just saying you could make it work. So, yeah, I think Liv would also work because of her relationship with the Wyndhams. Mia Yim is in NWA, says Richards. Click on this. We're 2 minutes away. 2 minutes away. Days, when Luke Gallows was Festus, did you enjoy that? Not massively. I mean, not massively. The Festus thing was strange, but I could sort of see what they were going for. So that was like, he would just stand there, like, staring off and looking like stupid. Just mouth open, dribbling, blah, blah, blah. But then, like, when the bell rings, it just turns into this, and you can hear them pitching it. I can actually see Vince sat in a room and someone explaining the idea to him. Like, but when the bell rings, then he turns into this killer. He transforms, and I can just see that conversation playing out. So, Yeah, I mean, no, I wasn't massively crazy about it. I think it's probably one that they look back a bit on with a bit of regret. I don't know if they ever regret anything, but I don't know that it's one they would do again. Mia Yim is in Impact, said James. Do people watch wrestling? She's only just left there now to be a free agent. Brenton said, as far as losing a big match for another title is the last straw, and that causes him to snap. Not necessarily to do with the Ring of Honor title. Heel Danielson would be a plus. Will this result in heel Danielson? I don't think so. He's still in Blackpool Combat Club. So what would happen then? Blackpool Combat Club would turn heel, but they can't because Moxley's in there, and so that's not going to happen. So is he going to leave them? I don't know. I don't know. I don't think that'll go that way. Right. Days was Festus in a past life, said Unbroken. Right, here we go. We have Renee coming out. Damn, Renee's opened the show. Renee opens the show. Paquette. Renee Baguette. Welcome to AEW Dynamite. Big cheer. Joining me now. Joining me now is Canada's own Christian Cage. Okay, that's cool, man. That's cool. She's a good signing. And Christian Cage is coming out. So Renee is on stage with Christian. These two were both on WWE Backstage, weren't they? Feels great to be back in Toronto, said Christian. As the face of not only the city of Toronto, but the country of Canada. He talks about the Toronto Maple Leafs losing. I'm ready for the Eater of Buffets, Winthrop, Mr. McNair, Fat Booty for Booty, Uncle Bumbles, and Captain Big Mac. Is that going to be the new Wyatt 6? Oh, man, imagine if you went to McDonald's and you could order a Wyatt 6. That'd be good, wouldn't it? 6 different items off the menu. That'd be all right. I'd do that. Luchasaurus has made his way out. Renee's looking good. She isn't. I was just thinking that, yeah. Who cares about NHL? Here is Luchasaurus making his way down then. So the show has begun. Luchasaurus taking on Jack Perry. Seems to be the new name that he's going to be going by. Going to be tricky, isn't it, for Jack Perry, this one? Old Jungle Boy. Don't know how this is a tricky one to book. I hope this gets time, and I hope it's a banger. Part of me, actually thinks if I was booking this, I think I'd take it to a 30-minute time limit draw. I think I'd take it to a time limit draw. I don't think Jungle Boy should be able to beat Luchasaurus within 20 minutes. And I think that if Jungle Boy can survive against a monster like Luchasaurus for 20 minutes and there's still no result, I think that's a good result. Here we go then. Hopefully this is going to be a great match. Bell rings. Jack Berry comes out. Drop kick drives Luchasaurus back. Luchasaurus getting some shots to the midsection. Pushes Jungle Boy down. He's got him up on his shoulders. Throws him to the outside. In between the ropes. Shoulder tackle. Over the top. Against the ropes. Drop kick. Against the ropes goes Luchasaurus. Luchasaurus, this is too early in the match for him to just be slumped against the ropes like that. He needed to quickly get up off those ropes. I feel like we've only just started this match. To see him already like out of breath, kind of slumped over the ropes, that's something that can come later in the match. Grabs Jungle Boy. Days, what did Brock and Lashley quarter do? Because no way did it do lesser viewership to Judgment Day. I'll tweet it out, but you can peruse it. German suplex by Luchasaurus. I can't watch AEW's product. It's bad, said McGruber. Rumors that Jeff Hardy is going to go back to WWE as Willow, says Scott. Not heard them. I've not heard those rumors at all. I don't see that. Luchasaurus grabbing the timekeeper's table. Setting it up on the outside. We want tables, chant by the crowd, but a table has been set up. Luchasaurus grabbing Jungle Boy, got him up on his shoulders. Big strikes here by Jungle Boy. Gets driven back into the ring post. Did you hear about AEW being nervous about their Canada debut? People wondered why AEW picked a smaller arena when they could have sold a bigger one. No, I've not heard anything about like arena sizes or anything, but that's all right if they're a bit nervous. It's all right. Go in, test the water, see what it's like. If you could always have done a bigger arena, and just book that next time. Kick coming into the arm of Luchasaurus. Fitz Production said Legado del Fantasma debuting soon on SmackDown. Not sure if it's this week, but Escobar, Mendoza, Wilder on SmackDown. They've already debuted, but they debuted on Friday. They attacked Hit Row. So they were on Friday just gone. Into the ring goes Jungle Boy. Into the railing goes Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy down. I feel like, have these been on the outside for like a long time? Into the railings move. Uncle Howdy is a reference to Captain Howdy, the demon's nickname from The Exorcist, says Sir Kibbington. That's cool. I would be surprised if it didn't relate to something Wyatt as well, because you've got Uncle Harper. So there must be something in an old promo. That's my gut feeling. Yes, it could absolutely connect to that as well. But I feel like it probably, a lot of Bray stuff connects to old tweets, old promos. I'd just be surprised if this was not, and it was actually connected to just The Exorcist. Like, that would surprise me. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying that it would surprise me. Jungle Boy didn't have a plan, said Zoom Station. Did they? I didn't. Elektra Lopez be with them on the main roster. No, Zelina Vega was with them instead. So don't know what they're doing with Elektra Lopez. I haven't heard she's been released. So I don't know if they're planning on using her on her own or something. I don't know. Jungle Boy down. The source was Wrestling Wizards. With Jeff not being able to return to AEW because of his charges, Well, I mean, what the flip's wrestling wizard? What the flip's that? No offense, but I've never heard of that in my life. Yeah, it's not Sean Ross Sapp. It's not Dave Meltzer. It's not WrestleVotes. I've never heard of wrestling wizards. I'm sure they're lovely people, but I've never heard of them. The crowd is off to a hot start, said Daniel. Crowd are into it, yeah, and so they should be. We were going down the cards, and we said this has had one of the better builds. So there's definitely a reason to care about this match. It's certainly got my attention. As Jungle Boy is being dragged into the center of the ring. Crowd clapping along. Trust me, it's Wednesday in the United States. It's Thursday here in the United Kingdom, said Dortnay. Can you see Orange or Jungle Boy getting singles titles? There's so many belts that the answer would have to be yes. And I'm not saying that in a nasty way. I'm not saying like there's too many belts, blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying that there are. And, you know, an FTW belt, one of the Ring of Honor belts, the All Atlantic belt, the TNT belt, like someone like Jungle Boy in particular, I think will definitely get to a title of some description within the next, say, 6 months. Orange Cassidy, a little bit tricky because I feel like he's been around doing his thing for quite a while now. I don't know how much momentum he's got. He might still be one of their big merch shifters, and it might be that his YouTube videos clips do really, really well. Could be people are still super high on him, but I don't know. I feel it feels a bit cold at the moment. Orange Cassidy. Hurricanrana as Luchasaurus goes into the ring post. So Luchasaurus goes crashing into the ring post. Jungle Boy grabbing Luchasaurus, trying to get him up on his shoulders. That table is still set up on the outside, but no joy. No joy. The Timekeeper's table is like a Harry Potter ripoff. Now, Luchasaurus drops Jungle Boy down in the ring. Luchasaurus is on the outside of the ring. Jungle Boy working on the arm. Super kick. Luchasaurus grabbing a hold of the top rope. Is teetering. Shoulder to the midsection. Gets the ropes. Goes Jungle Boy over the top. Sunset flip and plants Luchasaurus through the table. Christian's like, why is he not being disqualified? He used that table to his advantage. Over the top of Luchasaurus and plants him through the table. Christian incensed, going down to ringside as Luchasaurus is being put back into the ring. Jungle Boy on the outside, waiting for Christian to come down. Christian. Luchasaurus sits up in the ring. Jungle Boy jumps in. Luchasaurus back up to his feet. Super kick there by Jungle Boy. Super kick again by Jungle Boy. Gets the ropes. Gets planted down. Luchasaurus with the clothesline. Luchasaurus has got Jungle Boy up on his shoulders. Christian now is at ringside. Jungle Boy is planted down in the cover. 2. Kick out by Jungle Boy. Table Lives Matter. Fitz's production said, I heard rumors on the internet that WWE are trying to get Bronson Reed and Mia Yim back in the company on the main roster. Brenton said, if we talk about this before, I apologize, but why is Triple H bringing back all kinds of NXT talent? It hurts WWE in the long run. Too many unknown faces at one time from developmental seems odd. I don't think he's doing it to bump ratings or anything at the moment. I think he's doing it because he feels he needs them on the roster to tell the stories that he wants to tell. And there's people that he has worked with at NXT that I think he enjoys working with. I think they've got the right mentality. Yes, boss, no boss, 3 bags full boss, you know. They'll get done whatever he needs. He knows he can trust them. He knows they'll deliver. And I think him bringing in people was always going to happen. And I wouldn't believe every name that's linked. But it's true. He's brought in, you know, a lot of people. He's brought back a lot of people. But I think if you look at them, I think a good chunk of them have worked out. Some of them maybe not so much. Jury's out on Hit Row, for example. But I think like Bray's going to be a big success. I think the jury could be out on Braun, could be out on Hit Row. Is the jury out on Damage Control? I think the booking of them has been a bit not perfect. But as I said, I think Carrion's been a success. I think Bray will be a success. So I think there's some hits and I don't know. Maybe it's too early to say misses. It's Jack Perry, said Tim. This is the beginning of the end, said Stan. Here we go. Oh, trying to get up on his shoulders. Why didn't WWE copyright the name Uncle Alan, said Rotem. Yes. Yes. You're absolutely... They were right there. They were right there. They had one job. Against ropes goes Jack. Round the houses. Up on the shoulders of Luchasaurus. Crucifix pin. 2. Kick out by Luchasaurus. Crowd are into this. Crowd are into this. He's going for the kill switch. Looking for the kill switch. Didn't get it. Luchasaurus has got Jungle Boy up on his shoulders. Jungle Boy reverse. Oh, no. Didn't look great. The crowd didn't lose their mind on that. I think they were more concerned. Kill switch. Kill switch by Jack Perry. Rolling Luchasaurus over. Going for the pin. 1, 2. Oh, 2 count. Shoulder up by Luchasaurus. Christian thought that was it as well. That snare trap applied by Jack Perry. Luchasaurus trying to get over to the ropes. Trying to crawl his way over. Is close to the ropes. Couldn't get there though. Jack Perry preventing it. Jungle Boy preventing it. But Luchasaurus, such a big guy, reaches out, stretches out his arm, grabs a hold of the ropes. Christian is stopping Luchasaurus from being pulled into the center of the ring. Jack Perry jumps on the outside. Referee getting in the way as Christian moves around the other side of the ring. Christian was trying to shake the ropes, knock Jungle Boy off of him. Luchasaurus grabs him whilst that distraction was happening. Luchasaurus in control. If I was booking this, I'd have Luchasaurus be FB and Christian be the blame, and then have another match between Christian and Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus wins, and the boy wins and turns on Christian. Heather said, I don't care. I'm loving this match. That was stupid, says Mike. Put your scores in. What did you think? First match done. What did you think? Luchasaurus against Jungle Boy. Did you like it? Did you rate it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Luchasaurus getting the job done. Plenty of outside interference there by Christian. Lots of distracting. James said, that's dumb. Brenton said, as far as NXT names, especially guys like Hit Row, Phantasma, I think it might be too late for LA Knight, especially after the Maximum Male models. Solo is fine because of Roman. Just Nick said, good match. That's an 8 out of 10. Albion said 3 out of 5. Trini says 3 out of 5. 1 Minute Wrestler says 2 out of 5. Brad says 3. Wes says 1. We're backstage with Renee. Renee's with The Firm. Here's Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy and Private Party. Their contract belongs to me. So Ethan Page versus Matt Hardy with Private Party's contracts on the line. If you beat me, your contracts will be free. What do the Firm get? Yeah. That's good. Fair play. I was just saying then, what does Ethan Page get? Because why would Ethan Page put Private Party's contracts available if he doesn't get anything if he wins? So on Rampage, if Private Party get the victory, then it's going to be they get their contracts and they can join Matt. If Ethan Page wins, then not only do the Firm get Private Party, they get Matt Hardy's as well. Evan said, the comments that I left was weird. My speaker's not working. What I was saying, Dr. Nicole, at the same level as Khan Skylanders, Dr. Cortex. That still doesn't make any sense even. The Rock on AEW television, says Alexis. AR1 said, AEW needs to come up with new matches instead of the same people wrestling 4 or 5 times. Sonny said, I forgot about my secret hiding place that holds coins. I'm going to see on my Timmy app how much a small ice cap costs. Did you see Hikaru Shida? I saw Tommy retweeted Hikaru Shida saying this is the best or whatever, and she was drinking a Tim Hortons coffee of some kind. I think he only retweeted that for you, in all fairness. Rolling downhill, big wheels living in. Do you agree they need to stop this feud? Said Beastie Boy, because I think it's dead. Do you agree? Which feud, bud? The Jungle Boy Luchasaurus one? It's going to continue. I mean, I don't know that you can stop it without Jungle Boy getting the win at the end of it. You know, Jungle Boy needs to really get the win and move on. So I feel like you probably do need another match out of it. To my knowledge, that's probably the first time they've actually faced. So I don't know that it's a dead feud. I think it's gone on a bit too long, and I don't think it's had the focus on it that it really needed. I think Christian has done a great job. I was not a fan of Luchasaurus joining Jungle Boy, leaving Jungle Boy, going back to Jungle Boy. I think there was some faffing in there that just didn't need to happen. So you've got to do another match because you've got to have Jungle Boy get the win, and then he can move on to other things. And to be honest, it might be another few matches. So Brenton said, I know you've not watched Rampage in a while, but what are your thoughts of trying to stack a Rampage card? I think the show is dead. AEW needs a new show in its place, maybe a Ring of Honor TV show. I would agree with that. I mean, I would say try it, because if you make Rampage live and make it matter and make it so titles are defended, and you sort of, if you want to watch the AEW product, you sort of need to watch it. You should still be able to watch Dynamite every week. You need to have good recaps, because if you don't watch Rampage, you shouldn't be necessarily punished for that. But if you want to enjoy the whole AEW product, then having Rampage live, having matches that matter, having big stars on, make it like a third hour of Dynamite type thing. You can try it. Whether it'll work or not, I seriously don't know. But I think having a completely separate show with its own roster probably makes more sense. Probably makes more sense. The only problem with that is that you are going to be limited with your star power. That's the only downside. But, yeah, I think we can all agree what they've been doing hasn't been working. Okay, here we go. We've got Wardlow and Samoa Joe. So it's going to be War Joe. War Joe versus... I don't actually know who they're facing. He's on a 16-match win streak, Wardlow. Did you hear what The Rock said about Roman? Yeah. He said that he's doing a fantastic job and he acknowledges him. But did he say that I think he said The Rock said that he was the head of the table? So, could be the start of summer. Hopefully it is. I really hope we get Rock Roman at WrestleMania. Ring of Honor graphics. Is that new? Have we seen those before? I couldn't say 100%. Samoa Joe in the ring then. With Wardlow. Someone's got some big scissors in the crowd. So, is it going to be QT, Marshall, and Komoroto? Who's in this? Komoroto and QT. Okay. This shouldn't take long, really. Against the ropes goes Joe. Down goes QT. Sent on by Joe. Komoroto on the outside. Wardlow dealing with him. Big shots coming in by Joe. Big right hands. Truth, The Rock is the head of the table. He is the real Samoan draw, says Heather. Christian said War Joe. James said, did you see the AEW replica titles are near 800 pounds? No. Are they? The only thing I would say about that is I think you can get like real life replicas, as in like they are exactly identical to the ones the wrestlers have. And I don't think a lot of WWE replicas are. I think they use slightly cheaper materials and, you know, they're there or thereabouts. And, you know, that's how you get to the 200, 300 price mark. There was a belt they did that was around 800 odd pounds. And that was like a real life authentic one. So perhaps these replicas that AEW do, perhaps they're real life replicas. If they are, I would recommend that they provide the 200, 300 pound alternatives as well. Belly to Belly by Wardlow. Sean Rossap in the crowd. Blue chewed, tripping out, said Unbroken. AR1 said, no one wants The Rock back for 2 months. Flashin' Jackson said, while Roman is the head of the table, The Rock is the head of the house. Junior said, when they do a Ring of Honor match like this, they should change the rope colors to Ring of Honor colors. Big slam down there by Wardlow. Dort Knight said, I'm the biggest Tim Hortons fan in the chat. William likes Dunkin' Donuts. Sonny loves Starbucks. What you need to take from this is we all love coffee. I didn't know that. Samoa Joe has got a submission hold, sleeper hold on. Komoroto and War Joe pick up the victory. Tell you what, they're really over. They're really popular. Crowd are good here in Toronto. Good crowd. Good crowd. Joe throws QT into Wardlow. Wardlow going to look for a power bomb. Boom! There it is. Big power bomb. Esteban said Krispy Kreme is the best. Coffee is good, said Brad. Sergio said, I laugh every time about the scissoring thing they do. Is it me? But it feels like something more. I don't know what you mean. They just love scissors. A very underappreciated kitchen implement. Here's Brian Cage. Warjo. Here's the embassy. No one here wants to see you powerbomb QT Marshall. Just like no one wanted to see you stick your noses in our business last week. Starbucks has a Satanist symbol on their cup, said Unbroken. Wardlow overshot the Swanton just a bit. Powerbomb Symphony. Future tag champs. Maybe. Warjo. Here's FTR. We want to talk about future tag champs. Here they are. Ring of Honor. World Tag Champs. AAA Tag Champs. IWGP Tag Champs. FTR making their way down. He drops his microphone. He's dropping loads of stuff. Old Dax. Do you think Arn is offended by the scissoring, considering what Sid did to him with scissors? Yeah, it's why we don't see him anymore. FTR in the ring then. Great reaction. Great reaction. We've got the perfect. Are we getting Ty Dillinger? N on the screen? Oh, hang on. Is it going to be 10 from Dark Order? No, it is Sean Spears. Sean Spears is here. Dude in the crowd. 10. Sean Spears is coming down. Looks like it's going to be FTR and Sean Spears taking on the Embassy on Rampage. So Sean Spears is a face now then. Sean Spears and Wardlow staring at each other. They know each other very well. There's a little hug between Wardlow and Sean Spears. FTR have got holding up their belts. Samoa Joe holding up his belt. I mean, look, the 10 thing worked for him. They can't use 10. WWE trademarked it. The crowd are using it. Backstage with Tony Schiavone. FTR, Sean Spears teaming up for the Trios title, said Christian. FTR maybe should go to WWE, said the scientist. In his hometown, it's a nice surprise. The chairman is back, said Tom. Daddy Magic. Talking to Garcia. FTR beats the Gates of Apathy on Rampage. Oh, God, I forgot about them. I forgot about the Gates. I forgot about those dudes. We spent all of last week coming up with better names, didn't we? Aren't they the gates of agony? Garcia has not returned my call, said Jericho. I hope Spears is cheered in Canada. It said perfect 10 on Spears Tron. Yeah, he got a good reaction. FTR getting the shine they deserve, said AR1. Corey said, do you like football? I don't watch American football. I never grew up with that. It wasn't really a thing that was shown. You probably could have found it late night on a sports channel, but it was not accessible when I was growing up. It's a lot more accessible now over here. But no, that passed me by. But yeah, I do watch football, soccer. Man United tomorrow, if James is still around. Man United tomorrow. Swerve Strickland making his way down. Oh, it's going to be time for Daddy Ass. So, Billy Gunn versus Swerve Strickland. Looking forward to this. Yo, now listen. Swerve making his way down. Kind of muted reaction. Not anymore. Big reaction. Everyone on their feet. Listen. Put you on the ice like Austin Matthews. At one point, he said, we're going to make you blacker than Trudeau. That's a reference to the Canadian Prime Minister, isn't it? Who said some lovely things about the Queen when she passed. It's for me, Daddy Ass! Taz, all over the world, men and women are scissoring. Is there any way we could have 2 hours of the Acclaimed? Oh, scissor me, daddy. Oh, scissor me, daddy. Oh, scissor me, daddy. It's a great atmosphere in Toronto. Yeah, Billy Gunn is feeling it. Imagine being... Started competing in the 80s. In the 80s. And we're here in 2022 and he's getting some of the biggest reactions on this show. Looks great. He does look great as well. Face to face. Wrestler Andy, hello. Just tuned in. Have I missed much? You have missed Luchasaurus against Jack Perry, aka Jungle Boy. Resulted in Luchasaurus winning thanks to lots of distractions by Christian. You have missed Komoroto and QT losing to Wardlow and Samoa Joe. Sean Spears came out after he's a face now and he's going to be teaming with FTR on Rampage. And Renee Young is back. So she opened the show. We're in Toronto. Great crowds. And right now we've got Billy Gunn against Swerve Strickland. Oh, pulling down the trunks. Little smile on his face. Billy Gunn is towering over Swerve. Back elbow there by Swerve. Swerve getting into the ring. Drop kick to the legs as Billy Gunn goes down. I wonder how Billy Gunn feels about not being a part of the DX unit. I would imagine he's disappointed. But I would imagine that... I mean, I made the comment during WWE that, like, they wanted him. Tony Khan didn't allow it. I totally understand why, because when he did allow it and he went to the Hall of Fame, they fired shots at AEW, and Tony Khan just doesn't need that, does he? I mean, that level of disrespect. So I can understand why he didn't allow it. I think that Billy Gunn would have been disappointed, but he is also a part of one of the hottest things in wrestling right now. So that disappointment is going to be quite easily overcome. If he was just sat twiddling his thumbs in catering, not doing anything, that would be disappointing and would fester and maybe even become resentment because he hasn't got anything else going on. Right, I just imagine he got over it quite quick because guess what? On Wednesday, mate, you've got a match against Swerve Strickland on TNT or TBS or whatever channel we're on in America. But on Dynamite, you're going to have a match with Swerve Strickland. You'll come out, massive reaction, like, yep, fine, focus, boom. So, yeah, I'm sure he was disappointed to not be a part of it, but there's a lot of wrestlers that would love to be in his situation. He is 1/3, really, of the Acclaimed. Is maybe not an official member, but he is obviously with them. It's just that it's a bit unfortunate. It's so late in his career that he obviously can only wrestle once in a blue moon. He's not going to be someone that's going to be wrestling on a regular basis. That's a real shame. I wonder if they could go for the trios, though. I wonder if he'd be able... Because with the trios title is he can spend most of the time on the outside, and technically, he might never need to actually be tagged into the match. Could you imagine the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn going after the trios belts? That'd be flipping awesome. I'd be down for that. So if they do lose the tag belts anytime soon, as long as they go after the trios, I'll actually be all right with it. Because imagine Billy Gunn with a belt. That would be great. WWE fear the Scissors DX chant, said Unbroken. I am excited about NXT Halloween Havoc, said Elizabeth. Brenton said, speaking of that, did you catch the AEW reference during the DX segment? HBK and Corey Graves both alluded to Billy in AEW. I didn't catch... I heard Corey, he said that Billy Gunn's playing with office equipment, so a reference to the Scissors. I didn't hear what HBK said. Sonny said, the Tim Hortons app has lied to me. It says that the small ice cap was about $1, but it's almost $3. I even walked in the rain for Timmy's. Oh, that sucks. Hope you well, Sonny. Would it matter if Billy Gunn wasn't part of the Acclaimed? I think so, because I don't think if he's not a part of them, then he's not going to be a part of the scissoring thing, is he? I feel like the Yo Listen intro from the Acclaimed, the fun, the chemistry they've all got together, the scissoring and all of that. Like, if he wasn't a part of the Acclaimed, what would he be doing? If he was with, like, his sons, the Gun Club, they weren't that over. They were nowhere near as over as what the Acclaimed are. So, yeah, if he was just off on his own, I don't know if it would work as well. Like, the dynamic, the chemistry between the three of them is brilliant. Evening, how are you? Football Days No More. I enjoyed those streams. It's dead, mate. Dead. It's gone. We've got the memories, but yeah, it was. I said before, it's just apparent that if you're going to do something, you got to do it 100%. And so, it was either football or wrestling, and that was a very easy decision. What took Renee Paquette is Tony Khan trying to counter to keep up WWE surprises? What took Renee Paquette is Tony Khan trying to keep up surprises? I honestly don't know. I mean, they're in Toronto. I would imagine he's tried to get her for a long time. I don't know why she's agreed to it now. But I would imagine since she became available, he's wanted her. Why would you not want Renee? If I had my own wrestling company, I would want Renee. Like, why would you not someone that's got that experience and is good track record, proven, people like her, very likable. She's got a nice personality. I mean, she's been given WWE backstage hosting duties, kickoff show hosting duties, multiple network show hosting duties. I don't know why you wouldn't want her. I think he did. But why she's agreed now, I really don't know. I think it's more on why she is now said yes rather than anything else. This match still underway as Swerve goes back to the corner. Unbroken said Gun Club are basically what Timberlake and Bieber would look like on a bender. Swerve up top. Scissor in on top. Comes down with a double stomp. Billy Gunn's down. 1, 2. Kick out by Billy Gunn. Billy Gunn lives. Billy Gunn survives. Mox just signed for 5 years, and Renee gets signed. Perhaps I don't know. I don't know. I was going to say perhaps they are related. It feels timing wise like it is. Perhaps it's related because Moxley it got to the new point where it was time for him to negotiate a new deal. And I think maybe once she realized he was going to be there for the next 5 years, perhaps she thought to herself, well, I'll sign as well. If he's there for 5 years, why don't I sign as well and I'll do 5 years with them or something, however long she's signed for. Swerve's been able to get the victory. That's not going to be the biggest of surprises. Acclaimed making their way down. So Acclaimed making their way down to the ring. Walking past Swerve. Swerve laughing at them as they get into the ring to check on Billy. Swerve crotch chop him. Looks like they're going to do the trifecta scissor in. All 3 members in there. I think we're going to get a little scissor. Oh, interrupted again. Interrupted again. Jeff Sterling is this. Toni Nese. We've seen WWE bloat their payroll back in 2019. Too many wrestlers locked up for 5-year deals. Is Triple H falling back into that trap? Even Tony Khan is currently going through with constant signings. No, he won't be falling back into that trap. Any signings he'll be doing will be getting checked over by Steph and Nick Khan. Jeff Sterling owns the trademark for Scissor Me. All the money from your t-shirt sales go to me. So Jeff Sterling, is that his name? What's his name? It's not Jeff Sterling, is it? So he's trademarked Scissor Me. Scissor Me Daddy Niece. Look at Niece. Anything can be trademarked, says Peter. WWE had enough dollars for talent because Triple H doesn't like paralegals, says Trini. Okay. Mark Sterling. Smart Mark Sterling. Thank you, Rick. They didn't need that, said Just Nick. Jeff Sterling. I can't remember who these people are called. Someone Sterling. I got close enough. He's lucky I didn't call him Raheem Sterling. MJF is backstage. What is going on? I'm in the middle of an interview and you interrupt me. That's hysterical, says MJF. Stokely Hathaway. Now Daddy's got to put you on timeout. MJF open challenge, said Richards. I don't know why I remember his name. He's a clown, says Rick. You want to ask me about William Regal? Willie? In my world, you're about as villainous as Mary Poppins. I'm not afraid to tell you. Was I going to shake his hand? I don't know. Nice guys finished last. You don't have a goddamn clue what it takes to be MJF. Knowing I've got no choice but to be the bad guy. It's good from MJF. He says, when I walk through that curtain, I don't like me either, so this is pretty good from MJF. MJF versus Bray, that'd be awesome. Don't know what the match would be like, but the build would be awesome. That was good. That was good by MJF. That was good. Great promo, said Rando. Without lawyers, who will we hate? Why not have Renee with MJF? Marvez is garbage, says Brenton. They forgot to bleep him, said Heather. Hell yeah, MJF, said Tom. Tom enjoyed it. How does one hire a hitman? Just ring up Bret Hart, see if he's available. MJF always kills it on the microphone, said James. Stan said, have you ever been to a wrestling event? Yes, my friend. I've been to indie shows, I've been to WWE shows, I've been to Raw, I've been to SmackDown, I've been to house shows. First wrestling show I went to, I want to say was probably 94 in Birmingham at the NEC, which is like the convention center. And it would have been WWE, WWF then. And I found some pictures. They're rubbish pictures. I mean, awful. You can barely make anything out, but you can just about make out who is in the ring. Like, they're really small. We weren't even that far away. I don't know what camera was being used. Just like, I don't know, the world's worst. But yeah, they're really small. You can barely see, but you can make out Undertaker. I want to say Karma. So, you know, the Godfather, before he was Godfather, he was Karma, the ultimate fighting machine. He was there. Bertha Faye, she was there. Alondra Blaze, she was there. I feel like Doink was there. Shawn Michaels was there. King Kong Bundy was there, which is really cool, considering at the time I didn't realize, I did not know he had main evented WrestleMania 2. I didn't know that. No way did I know, because I would have been more excited to have seen him if I'd have known he had main evented a WrestleMania. But I was so excited for like Shawn and Undertaker. King Kong Bundy was just kind of, he was back and just around. They weren't really doing much with him. He was just kind of mid-carding, really. But he'd come back, he'd left and come back, and he was there. And I remember, like, he was a big guy, and, you know, I thought he looked cool, but I wasn't that excited about him. If I was to see him now, I'd freak, man. To see, I don't think he's with us anymore. I think he sadly passed away, but yeah, main evented WrestleMania 2 against Hogan. Just jobbing, kicking about in the mid-card. So yeah, that was my first. I went a few times when I was a kid. Right, we're in the ring with Toni. Let's see what's happening as we're approaching the second hour. Renee was pregnant for most of her time, to be fair. Now is a couple of months after the birth of her child, so it makes sense to return to wrestling. So Moxley helps massively, says Daniel. John Moxley getting his intro. John Moxley. Right, Moxley making his way down. King Kong Bundy, he's gone, said Rick. I saw Sean Brett. That was the best match I've seen live, said Tom. That's cool. That's really cool. I did not see Sean Brett. I actually don't know who I saw. I did look at the card not long ago, because you can actually go to Wrestling Database online. I think you literally search that database, Wrestling Database. Cage match.net, and then you can actually go back through. You can go back through old cards. So, like, if I search King Kong Bundy, click on his matches, I might be able to find it. Toni is interviewing John Moxley. Going to be taking on Hangman Adam Page. Damn, it's good to be in Toronto. Damn, it's good to be in Toronto. They've come from far and wide, all shapes and sizes. So Moxley talking to the crowd at the moment. You live every day in physical pain. I miss the 80s. I love wrestling and old school wrestling, said Jeremy. I actually found the card I was talking about. It was 95, not 94. I did go in 94 as well, though. But I have found the card with Alundra Blaze, Bertha Faye, Shawn Michaels, King Kong Bundy. What's amazing is on that card was Billy Gunn. The Smoking Guns were on that card. So that show I'm talking about, I actually saw Billy Gunn wrestle live when I was a kid. And here he is still. It's stunning. It's stunning. Moxley calls out Hangman Page, and Hangman making his way down. Next Tuesday night. Moxley next Tuesday. Is that going to be on at the same time as NXT? That's a bit moody, isn't it? Hangman and Moxley in the ring. It's time. It's halftime. This is lame, said Scientist. Bundy stayed in the same shape for years. I saw him in the indie start in 06, said Rick. That's cool. Yeah, I didn't realize he was still competing that late. I didn't realize. Very cool, though. Is it AEW Dynamite or is this AEW Dark Elevation? Days confirmed Billy Gunn is his daddy. Toni is back in the corner. I've watched you for these past 3 years, said Hangman. Brock's gonna hunt Page down, said Tom. Big Time Back said next week NXT AEW go head-to-head prime time on Tuesday. NXT did 737 yesterday, highest since October 2021. Are we expecting a slaughter? Well, those ratings are going to drop. Yeah, definitely. Those ratings are definitely going to drop. I mean, even maintaining 700 odd is going to be difficult for them, but going up against AEW and an AEW that's got a world championship. Got to think that both shows are going to suffer. You called me a nice kid. Is that how you feel about me? That's exactly what I think about you, said Moxley. MJF in the stands laughing. If you get the shot to take me out next week, I don't think you've got the guts to pull the trigger. Maybe you're right, said Hangman. Page should stick with Dark Order. I went for the Trios Championship with my best friends and we failed, says Hangman. My old friends have disappeared. JF's like, I'm angry. I'm frustrated. I'm anxious. I'm depressed. The medicine is not working. Don't forget how you messed your little title run-up with Colt Cabana, says Tom. My first wrestling match was 79, said Stuart, where I saw Rick Roddy Piper at the Maple Leafs Garden in Toronto. That's GOAT level. Stuart wins. We're all done. We're all done. Seeing Ric Flair, arguably the greatest of all time. Roddy Piper, one of the greatest of all time. I don't think mine can compare. I do remember going and seeing some in 94, but the show I'm recalling was 95, and the main event was Undertaker versus Karma. It's just not the same, is it? I don't care if your sister's there, says Hangman. I don't care if your mother's in the crowd. I will beat you within an inch of your life. This is a fired up Hangman. He says, look at me now. I have nothing, but I do have a shot. Tuesday, I'll take my shot. I will be the next AEW World Champion. Is there an MJF chant? MJF. MJF sat in the stand going, man looking up at MJF. Unlike him, I wanted to make sure I came out and told you that's your face, says Hangman. Throws there's a sign in the crowd that says, please stop fighting. I think that's more a message for the folks backstage. Hangman steps between the ropes. Walks away. AEW on Tuesday, said Justin. Crowd don't seem to care about this promo, said CM316. Kojiko said Jupiter is the fastest spinning planet in the solar system. Only takes 10 hours to complete a full rotation on its axis. That, I think, is breaking news. Dark Knight said, I just want you to know I will be supporting Boston in the NBA this season. Like it or lump it, my American friends from across the pond. That is breaking news. That is breaking news from Dark Knight. Going to be supporting the Boston Buddies in the NBA. Fakest cowboy ever in wrestling, says Tom. No brawl, said Courtney. James said, crowd was more excited about MJF sitting in a box than that entire segment. Please murder me. My name is Jerry. Everyone in Herd sucks and are cowards. I love Trump. I hate babies. Wow, of all the things to hate. I did all your moms. Wow, that's gonna have been a busy weekend. No one has the courage to murder me. Says, please murder me. My name is Jerry. I feel like that's a plea for help, if anything, Jerry. I feel like you've just said a lot of things there that you don't mean, but you've done it for attention. And you might get some. You might get some. You're probably knackered after doing all of our moms. Here's Danielson. Everyone hates Adam Page, said Icy Hayes. Leo said, I met Randy Savage in 7-Eleven eating a Slim Jim. Snap into. Is that a true story? I'd love the idea that that's what he did on his spare time. WWE is better than AEW, said El Ojanita. Rick said, oh yeah, Leo. Days, Jerry's a jerk. He raised my rent up to $600. Is that the dude you live with? I didn't realize that you rented from him. Lionheart. Hang on, so this isn't the main event. We're 10 minutes into the second half. This what's the main event tonight? What's the main event tonight? Danielson versus Jericho. Here is Lionheart making his way down. Rick said, I hate Danielson's song. We won't see a new one for a while, I bet, though, sadly. Sweet Shell, Scoped Fighter, said, I'm shocked at what just read. Sorry. way behind. I think I just said about Jimmy, that shocked me as an angel mom. It hurts. An angel mom? What's an angel mom? You're a mom of the angels? Are you saying that Jerry did not do you? Is that what you're... Please do not say that Jerry is a liar. I will not accept that, guys. I will not accept that. He did all of our moms, and we just have to deal with it. And if you are a mom, you got done by Jerry as well. Yeah, deal with it. Richard said, Lionheart starting good. This match again, said Zoom Station. Right, here we go then. Ring of Honor. Championship on the line. Danielson versus Jericho. Coach Co said ice cream was once called cream ice. Oh. Ding, ding, ding. Here we go. Danielson, Jericho, meeting in the center. Toronto is Jericho, says a sign in the crowd. Kick by Danielson. Duck underneath. Roll up by Danielson. Kick out by Jericho. Uppercut. Chop coming back by Jericho. Uppercut by Danielson. Chop coming back by Jericho. Uppercut. Chop. Headbutt. Another headbutt. And again, driving Jericho back. Strikes to the midsection. Knees coming into the body. Against the ropes goes Danielson. Jericho goes down. Danielson. Slingshots Jericho over the top rope to the outside. Early advantage for Danielson. Danielson going against the ropes. And in between the ropes. Suicide dive. Jericho goes down. Oh my gosh, is it possible the women's tag match is the main event? Well, it has to be possible. I mean, we've heard from MJF. We've had Wardlow. We've done Jack Perry Luchasaurus. We've seen Billy Gunn. We're doing Jericho Danielson 3. I mean, to be honest, it's only going to lead either Pac OC or the women's tag. My guess is Pac OC is probably the main event. So I reckon the women's tag will be next. I reckon Pac OC is probs the main event because I believe that's a title All-Atlantic Championship match. I think they'll go with that over the a women's tag, but Days, remember these two on the first episode of NXT. Do I remember these two on the first episode of NXT? Oh, you mean like the very first episode? I was trying to think then. It was like the first episode at like Full Sail, but no, yeah, I do, yeah. Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it? Going all the way back to like when it was rookies and pros and all of that. They're crazy. Look at where we are now. What, 12 years later? 12 years later. James said, I saw that the women are the main event, but who the F knows? Oh, really? Oh, really? So it's not Pac OC. Pac OC's for a title All-Atlantic, isn't it? I'm all for women main eventing. Just seems like a real random match, though, to main event a Dynamite. Jericho in control. Crowds in fine voice. Of course, we are in Canada. Jericho getting a great reaction from the Canadian fans, as you would imagine. Please don't give OC the championship. Pac is awesome, said Gary. William said, how do you think about the mom doing that Jerry brought up upon us and all of our beloved mothers? Listen, I think that as long as it was consensual, who am I to say anything? Do you know what I mean? As long as all the mothers consented and everyone had a great time, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I don't know if Jerry was any good. I think that he may have exaggerated, if I'm being honest. I would be surprised if he has done all of our mothers. I mean, to be honest, I'd be surprised if he's done any of our mothers. But I think that if it was consensual and everyone enjoyed themselves, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. If anything, I see it as a lovely positive message. Many of you might be down on it. I think it was great. Sky Blaze said Tony Khan has learnt nothing. It's been 3 years. He can't fix the simple small things, like when someone's music hits. Zoom Station said Tony Storm's match on Dart was good. Exposing said Orange Cassidy is an embarrassment to professional wrestling. Jim said, I miss Jerry. He was fun. Oh, well, he's probably off doing our mums again. He's probably gone back for round 2, isn't he? Probably gone back for round 2. Jericho down. Big Time Baxter said the women's tag match is the main event, I believe. It's part of Soraya's push in for better spots for women. I'm all for women's wrestling, but you're asking people to change the channel. That does make sense when you think about Saraya being involved. It makes more sense then. I do agree with that. But I just feel like this match doesn't warrant it. Of all the we could easily have booked a match that warranted it. Easily. Toni Storm, Britt Baker. Toni Storm versus Britt Baker, 1-on-1. Jamie Hayter in Britt Baker's corner. Saraya in Toni Storm's corner. Absolutely should main event Dynamite. All week, any week, every week, yeah? Just this random tag match. Toni, Shida, Britt, and Jamie Hayter. Weird. But then, as you said, Saraya being involved makes you go, okay. Tony Khan can't figure out the technological problem, said Brad. Were they chanting Edge's name? I didn't catch that. Jamie Hayter should always be in the main event, said Jim. She is very good. She is very good. I will give you that. Daniel said, what fight do you think will be fight of the night at UFC 280? I think Yano Mali could be unbelievable with how good as strikers they are. I doubt it's going to go to the ground. Yeah, I mean, am I right in saying the main event's Islam and Oliveira? I mean, I can't look past that. I know it's super boring, but I can't look past that. I think that that's going to be a fight of the year. I really do. Sterling Dillashaw should be good as well. Bior Shikagian will be all right. Dariush Gamrot will be all right. But yeah, Yano Mali will be good. Aljamain Sterling's always fun to watch. Dillashaw will be a good opponent. I've got to go the main event. I feel like if I say anything else, I'm lying. Right, we're on the outside. We've got 43 minutes left in the show. We're debating what might be the main event, but it seems like a few rumors are out there that it's going to be the ladies. Jericho going up top. Stan said, I don't watch boxing or UFC. Jody said, I've got a question. Fire away, my friend. Shoot it out. Did you hear Hasbulla is in Islam's corner? No. Wow, that's it. Makhachev's winning then. Islam Makhachev wins. Because in those moments of weakness, all he's got to do is look over to the corner, see Hasbulla urging him on. Superhuman strength. Elbows to the side of the body by Danielson. Crossface applied here by Danielson. Pull him back. Crossface applied. Are they chanting Wardlow, said Rick. I don't think so. They're just clapping. Jericho. Is this Riccaboni that's on commentary? Damn good commentator. If you want to talk about good commentary, lovely tone to his voice. Okay. And when he gets enthused as well, he's still really clear. Danielson down. Reversal there by Danielson. I'm so glad that Riccaboni is on commentary. He's good. He's really good. Are you watching Marshall Shields Saturday night? I do want to, and apparently it's earlier. Yes, it's earlier in the night than the other kind of boxing. Why did AEW really show how fake Chris Jericho fall at AEW Blood and Guts? Was that when he went off the top of the cage into the crash mat? Was that one? I mean, I thought that was a massive misstep. I think they thought it was going to look a lot more spectacular and not as fake as it actually did. It was a crash mat with bits of like cardboard covering it that they'd kind of painted black to make it look like the staging. The only problem is we've seen the stage so many times. This extra piece that's not normally there was there this time. And you could tell some it was like, I mean, you could tell it was a crash mat. And then like that big spot at the end, I agree. It wasn't good. That was a real downer on that match, that Blood and Guts match, because I loved it. I actually thought the match was brilliant, but the ending really left me underwhelmed. And you do find that with some of those kind of around that time period. I feel like it's around that time period we got the Exploding Barbed Wire show as well. All right, decent matches, but then really let down by an ending that leaves a bit of a bad taste in the mouth afterwards. 1, 2, Jericho with the pin. Danielson kicks out. Jody, shout out to you. Appreciate the kind words, buds. Sorry if it seemed I was upset and I came across as nasty, said Sweet Shell. Not at all, Sweet Shell. Not at all. I think we were all emotionally affected by what Jerry said, and I will be forming a support group afterwards. Brian said Jericho doesn't look like he has as much of a gut as he did a few years ago. Danielson up top. Knee strike off the top there by Danielson. Danielson crashing into Jericho. Crowd are into this. Crowd have really helped this show, you know. They've really helped this show. They've been there. It makes such a difference when the crowd are really into it. And the crowd have been great tonight. Shout out to Toronto. You've more than played your part. Shoulder up by Danielson. It's because Jericho quit drinking and went on a diet, said Heather. But he does look better. I agree with that. He does look better. Strike there by Jericho. Headbutt coming in by Danielson. Unfortunately, at this stage in his career, at this age, he probably does need to make, or seemingly have to make, those kinds of sacrifices. But hopefully, once he retires, he'll have plenty of time to have drinks and whatever. But he does look better. Oh, Danielson is pushed into the ref. The ref goes down. Danielson goes over to the corner. Clothesline. They both clothesline each other. Both guys go down. Exposing said Jericho looks much healthier. Fortnite said UFC starts at 9. Listen, UFC's a problem this week. We've got Shields Marshall. We've got Wilder Hellenius. We've got Kambosis Jr. versus Devin Haney. We've got a big weekend, which I still don't quite know how we're going to navigate our way through. But it's going to be a tricky weekend this weekend. To be honest, I'm not worrying about it. It's just going to be a beautiful mess. It's going to be a beautiful mess. I want to do Kambosis Jr. against Haney. I want to do Shields against Marshall. And I want to do Wilder against Hellenius as the priorities. Here's Garcia coming down. Ref is down, said Courtney. It's going to be a draft for Raw and SmackDown. Yeah, but probably not till next year, we've heard. Knee strike there by Danielson. Garcia just nails Danielson. Garcia nails Danielson. Okay, at least we got something interesting out of this story now. I didn't care who he was going to join. I didn't care if he was going to join Jericho, if he was going to join Danielson. I didn't give a flip, but at least that's significant. So Garcia nails Danielson whilst the referee was down. Jericho going over for the pin. Is it going to end this way? He's taking his time. 1, 2, 3, and it does. Jericho wins. Jericho wins thanks to Garcia, who has clearly made his mind up. Well, he's not joining Blackpool Combat Club now. I can tell you that much. I can tell you that for free. Forget it, mate. Application denied. Forget it. No flipping way, mate. No way. Here comes Wheelie Yuta. Claudio. William Regal making their way down. Blackpool Combat Club are not impressed with what they've just witnessed. Jericho Appreciation Society scrambling away, scuttling away. Okay, we're going backstage with the self-proclaimed TBS champion. There's Marina Shafir. You don't know me. You don't know me. You know me. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I wanted to do that again every week. He needs a t-shirt. You don't know me. Where's her You Don't Know Me t-shirt? I see you parading around with this belt on, acting like it's yours. Vicky. Oh, let's remix that. So Nyla Rose looks like she's going to be taking on Anna Jay. Nyla stole the belt from Jade. I think so. I don't know what's happened. I don't know. She's not really champion. I think the way that they cut over to her, they were like, she's claiming to be champion or something. So I don't know. Been great if they could have filled us in on what happened. You know, would have been cool. No. Okay. Speaking of Marina's promo, for the love of God, everyone should listen to Cornette's review of it, says Brenton. Jeremy said, I'm done with AEW. Bryan gets jobbed out all the time. He must be okay with it. William said, why are AEW stands upset? I like something and AEW stands get their granny panties in a wound. What does that mean? What's a granny panty? Granny panty. Granny panty. It was on Rampage, says Tahil. I haven't drunk in ages and I don't look any better for it, said Dortmund. No, but that's probably the crack cocaine. Brad said she stole the belt on Friday. Peter said, just like the first line from Edge's theme song. I think you know me. You don't know me. Days, I feel like this was a big show, but hasn't been that eventful. Not a lot of talking points. What do you think? I don't know what it is, man. Crowd are great. Crowd are great. I thought Jericho and Danielson, just put on a really good match. I thought it was a really good match. I think there was a nice surprise at the end of it. I didn't see that Garcia moment happening, so I actually thought that was all right. MJF promo earlier was pretty good. I don't care about the Ward Joe thing. The Jungle Boy Luchasaurus match I thought didn't quite grab me. Didn't quite grab me. I would have preferred them to have wrestled a really great match for 20 minutes, time limit draw. As I said, I think I would have preferred that than what we ended up getting. Jeff Sterling, Raheem Sterling, Mark Sterling, whatever his name is. I don't give a flip about him. I thought that was a flat moment, but Billy Gunn did well against Swerve. So yeah, look, I think there's some positives on this show. I don't think this show's been a disaster by any means. I think the crowd have been fantastic. So I reckon I could find a good chunk of positives. But I think the end result means that it's going to come out as being like 6.5, 6.75, maybe a 7. Like it's going to be around that range. There's nothing here that's an 8, 8.5, nothing like that for me. Okay, 20-minute time limit. Here's the women. No? So it's going to be Pac and Orange Cassidy then? Jamie Hayter getting a great reaction, and here's the Doctor. Britt and Hayter. I'm all right with this not being main event. I think if you made this the main event, it seems a little bit shallow. Like you've only done it because of Saraya. I don't think this match warrants the main event. You can have women in the main event, and you absolutely should. You absolutely should. I don't think it needs to be this match. Who's your favorite wrestler, says Jody. I love Gunther. I love Asuka. Very intrigued to see what we're going to do with Bray. I do like Danielson, but I think since he's been in Blackpool Combat Club, my love for him has kind of not dwindled, but I just don't care about Blackpool Combat Club. I think if he was on his own, I'd be into him a bit more. Hikaru Shida's got 2 belts. Yay! Shida, 2 belts. Shida, 2 belts. 2 belts, Shida making her way down. Toni Storm with the AEW Interim Women's Championship. I don't know what belts Shida's got. I can't remember. I love Shida. I'm glad she's back, says Heather. Danielson's been booked horribly. Blackpool or no Blackpool, it has been a letdown, said Master Chief. Anyone heard about Thunder Rosa's injury? I haven't actually, Brian. No, I haven't. Jamie Hayter starting off against Hikaru Shida. We are into the final half an hour of this week's AEW. Next week, we've got a big championship match on the way. Big strikes coming in by Jamie Hayter as Hikaru Shida is driven back. I like the face paint that Shida's got with the writing here. I keep mentioning it. Looks cool. I like it. Uppercut. Jamie Hayter. Strike to the back, and again, Hayter going down. Pounding away. Jamie Hayter trying to get back up to her feet. Toni Storm against the ropes. Drop kick. Jamie Hayter goes down. Hayter goes over into the corner. Hayter slumps down in the corner. Toni Storm is trying to go over to Jamie Hayter. Hayter, though, with a big boot. Toni Storm goes down. Britt Baker was grabbing Toni's leg from the outside. Britt Baker said, "That's my girl." This has been good, putting Jamie with Britt. This has worked. She's super over. Lovely suplex. Look at that. Lovely suplex into a pin. Little snap suplex thing there by Jamie Hayter. So crisp. That's lovely. She can be my DMD anytime, said Bryan. Sonny said Shida went to Timmy's and confessed her love. She did. Shida 2 straps. I don't think Shida's been overexposed. She's not been champ in ages. She's been on excursion back in Japan for a long time. James said, how has Shida been overexposed? She's been on Dark and Elevation that no one barely watches. Darth said, AEW women's division feels like the divas. I just don't take them seriously. Mike said, Britt needs to go away for a while. I grew bored with Baker. John likes Jamie Hayter. I like Jamie Hayter as well. She's from Southampton, apparently. It's where I used to live. Back elbow as Shida falls to the outside. She has become a fan favorite. She is very popular. She's doing all the work in this match at the moment. Against the ropes goes Toni Storm. Jamie Hayter collides into Toni Storm. Someone with a sign just walked past. Couldn't see exactly what it said, but someone with a sign just walked past. See what that said. I'm just going to see. I've turned off AEW, said the scientist. At least AEW women do something other than just have contests to show off. Thunder Rosa had a bulging disc in her back. Kinky. It's just one of those game signs again. I just rewound it to see what it said. He said, still waiting on Mega Man Legends 3. Good. I thought it was like shots fired. I thought AEW might be doing their own White Rabbit campaign. Someone walking in the crowd with a sign. I'm a simp for Hayter, said 1 Minute Wrestler. I'm a simp for Tony Khan. Simp hard for him. I'd pay good money to have one of them cuddles. Britt is tagged in right now. Toni Storm's down on the outside. Brenton said Danielson heel turn and leaves Blackpool Combat Club. Costs Moxley the belt. MJF goes on to feud with others. Mox comes back after vacation to feud with Danielson again. Dortnight said, how can you not love the Blackpool Combat Club growing up in the UK and going to Blackpool with your folks? It's madness. Well, I love Blackpool, but that doesn't mean you have to love the Blackpool Combat Club. Shida was Elevation on Monday, Dark on Tuesday, now Dynamite on Wednesday. Grinding away, man. Putting in the hours, putting in the work. Putting in the work. Suplex there by Shida. Suplex Britt onto Jamie. Shida going to the outside, climbing up on the edge. Double knees. Meteora. Kick out. Kick out by Britt. She went for a kick. Backbreaker by Jamie Hayter. Jamie Hayter, we're looking for another backbreaker maybe. Oh, Bulldog. Jamie getting back up. Britt. Lovely twisting net breaker. It's going to go for the lockjaw. The glove is out. Shida with a strike though. Right now, Shida's having to deal with both Britt and Jamie. Double super kick. Shida goes down. Jamie Hayter with a clothesline. Against the ropes, looking for a curb. Oh, there's the curb. Going for the pin. 1, 2. Toni Storm makes the save. Jamie Hayter goes to the outsides. Kick to the midsection there by Britt Baker. Toni Storm back into the corner. Lovely DDT there by Toni Storm. Back elbow by Shida. It's fast-paced, this, you know. No Saraya, as though we haven't seen Saraya. Only just dawned on me, we haven't even seen her. Hayter knocks Storm and breaks the pin as Shida had a pin on Britt Baker. But Baker and Hayter will win because Baker is Tony's favorite, says Mike. Yeah. Darth Vader said, this has been a flat show. Crowd is great. Jericho Bryan match is a snooze. Everything except Jericho Bryan. I was expecting some epic. Inside cradle. 1, 2 by Britt. Now she's going to go for the lockjaw. Lockjaw is coming. Got it. No, couldn't quite get it. Reversed by Shida. Britt goes over, tries to throw a shot in at Shida. She picks up, plants down Baker. Baker down. Oh, reversal by Baker. Reversal by Shida. 2. Reversal by Baker. Reversal by Shida. 2, 3. Shida gets it. Shida gets it. That's all right. Fast pace. Jamie Hayter looked good. Nice, said John. Nice. I wonder where Saraya is, said John. Wasn't expecting Britt to take the 3, said Master Chief. Okay, so the faces are victorious. On Rampage, we've got Moxley and Claudio taking on the Butcher and the Blade. Is she still called the Bunny? The Bunny's there as well. You could do a real nice moment where now some woman is beating up on Moxley, helping like the Bunny. You don't do it yet. I'm talking about 6 months down the road or something. But like, you know, Moxley's in trouble. He's outnumbered, and the Bunny's getting involved, and then Renee Young, Renee Paquette comes down. That'd be good. That'd be good. Imagine her grabbing the Bunny's hair. Get off my man type situation. That'd be good. All Atlantic championship pack. Orange Cassidy. The best of England takes on the best of America. That's what we've got next. Pack takes on Orange Cassidy. We'll bring our best. You bring your best. And they'll go 1-on-1 in the main event of AEW Dynamite. And that's exactly what we've got. Dream match. Dream match. CM316 said Butcher is a former rock guitarist. Darth Vader said Page might not be allowed in Canada. If you have any arrests or convictions, no matter how small or how long ago, they won't let you in. Well, that's not very nice, is it? Aren't they meant to be like friendly folk and, preach forgiveness and everything? What, you've done something wrong in your past? What, you've done a little murder 10 years ago and that's still held against you? Not very nice, is it, Canada? OC is the best in America, says Mike. The lack of knowledge Days has of AEW is hilarious and sad, says Luke. Well, at least it's hilarious. At least you're having a nice time. Brenton said, don't know his schedule, but I can't help but think Lance Storm being a special guest during Jericho's match would have been a nice moment. Listen, any Lance Storm is going to provide a nice moment, so Yeah, I agree. Some Lance Storm would be good. Yay, murder, said Sonny. Murder, yeah. Murder, 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 murder. Big Time Back said, have you noticed AEW women work better in tag matches than singles, whilst WWE women work better in singles than tag matches? I can't say I've noticed that. The only thing I would say is that, I mean, Jamie and Britt have been together for quite a while now, so they should have some good chemistry. Half the flipping teams WWE chucked together, they've been together for 5 minutes. So if there was like some women that had like been together for a while, then I would imagine that they should have some good chemistry. Jamie and Britt were great there. But saying that, I mean, look at Casey Catanzaro and Caden. They're pretty good down in NXT. They're pretty good. Toxic Attraction, they're good. JC Jane, and I weren't feeling them at the start, but I was actually saying I think they've really grown. And I think like they've obviously got a lot of confidence now. So WWE has walked with Elias. AEW has walked through the gates of agony. Murder spree. Murder spree. Murder spree. Here we go. We're at the Coca-Cola Coliseum. I think that's what it was called back in Roman days as well. Not Roman Reigns days. Right, here we go then. Pac versus Orange Cassidy. Noah said, is it just me or does this show feel rushed? Rooshed. Is it just me or does this show feel rooshed? Get it? Here's Orange Cassidy. Elizabeth said, sadly, us Canadians have our overprotected granny panties on when it comes to that kind of thing. Big Time Baxter said, is the NXT stream back full time? Is the Rampage stream on the horizon? NXT stream's been back for a long time, yeah. And what with the recent changes, I mean, it's not just me that's seemingly returned to it. Seemingly quite a few fans have returned to it now that they've made a few tweaks and changes. I think there's more to do, but yeah, NXT's all right. It's all right. And Rampage streams, no. There's no sign of Rampage streams because we do the SmackDown post-show review. And that's on at the same time. And so I would either have to delay the SmackDown post-show review by an hour to do Rampage. And to be honest, it just hasn't been worth delaying that SmackDown review. So, no, I don't think so. And what with Bray being on SmackDown permanently now, got to think there's probably, you know, a video that's going to come out after SmackDown. There'll be a video that needs to be done straight after SmackDown. So, just bad timing for Rampage, really. Pac making his way down. I freaking love Jane. I'm so glad Tony Khan got the usage rights. Noah said, I'm calling it. John Moxley and CM Punk return on Friday Night SmackDown to challenge Ronda Rousey. John said, it was at a place called Myth. I didn't go. I won tickets for a friend, opening bands, but did not go, said John. How do you think this match ends? I think Pac wins. I think Pac wins. I don't think they're going to put the belt on Orange Cassidy. I don't think so. Kick to the side of the head there by Pac. These two are going to have about 12 minutes to work. Other than humans, emperor penguins are the only warm-blooded animal to stay in Antarctica for the winter, said Coach Cone. Rick said, we agree on Jane 100%. Dortnight said, on a serious note, it depends what crime is and how you've behaved since. Well, maybe it was enough to keep Paige out. Pac puts Orange Cassidy's hands in his pockets. Orange Cassidy is down on his knees. And now Pac's doing the little kicks to Orange Cassidy. Takes a few steps back. One more step back. Few more steps back. Couple more steps back. Drop kick there by Orange Cassidy. I mean, he did take forever doing that. But in between the ropes goes Orange Cassidy. Pac catches him into a... Oh, wow. Falcon Arrow. Falcon Arrow by Pac. And then he snots on him. Yeah. Pac would have been a punk back in the day. God save the Queen! Holy ship! Holy ship! Holy ship! It will be interesting after White Rabbit 923 did 2.5 million. I wonder if Bray's appearance does 2.4. Wow. Who is not watching SmackDown on Friday? That show is going to be monster. So, big rating. Big rating coming for SmackDown. Falcon Arrow looked moody, as the Brits say, said Brenton. Rick said, have we ever seen Pac versus Danielson? I don't care if we have. It sounds like a banger. I can't recall it, you know. I feel like... Can't recall it. Can't wait for Friday, says Sonny. I feel like the trios tag titles would mean more if we had the Bucks and Kenny. Pack the... B word. The mastered. Pack the mastered. Do you think Pac wings clean or will he cheat? I'll probably have to have him cheat somehow. There'll probably have to be a little summit in there. I don't know that he beats Orange Cassidy completely clean. He should, but I don't know that he will. Sizzler me daddy! Oh! Is dragging Orange Cassidy up the entrance ramp. This will result in a count out, yeah? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ring the bell! Ring the bell! Double count out. Right, that was Dynamite. That was Dynamite, guys. For some reason, it's ended 8 minutes early. Some reason, the match seems to still be going on as well. Match continuing here. 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. No, it said, put your scores in. Put your scores in. He's back in the ring now. Back in the ring. So a tombstone from Pac. Orange Cassidy is rolling down the entrance ramp. Orange Cassidy rolling down the ramp. Oh, struggling to get back in the ring. He's up to 6. He's up to 6. He's up to 6. Oh my God, he's up to 6. Oh, thank God he made it. He made it, guys. Oh my God, he made it. Wrestler Andy said they're saying Pac the fast bird. Just got NXT North American Championship in the mail. Very nice. You'll be wearing that around town. Well, maybe not. Very nice, though. John Moxley and Claudio versus Butcher and Blade. That's on Rampage. Ethan Page taking on Isaiah Cassidy. That's on Rampage. Nyla Rose takes on Anna J.A.S. Pinnacle versus the Embassy in a trios match. Pinnacle? Are they still calling themselves Pinnacle? They just called them Pinnacle? I thought Pinnacle were done like forever ago. Renee sits down with Bryan Danielson. Oh, beautiful DDT by Orange Cassidy. That was great. Spiked him. Really spiked him on the outside. Against the ropes. No, and again. God. Wow. Orange punch too. Oh. Two amazing DDTs and an orange punch. Could not keep Pac down. Woo. The tombstone looked nasty too, said Brenton. Believe me, I don't know what I'll type down in the chat once in a while. Elizabeth, shout out to you. Pinnacle sans MJF. I'm good with that, says Heather. Trini said, got to leave you all early. Leaving home at 4 a.m. Oh my God, what, forever? Is it over with your husband? Leaving home at 4 a.m. Have you packed a bag, Trini? Look, crying face. Oh my God. Trini, stay strong. Stay strong, Trini. There's other fish in the sea. Poor Trini, fleeing in the middle of the night. Cold, scared. Believable. It's not even a name. It's not even a real name. We found that out in the other stream. Everything's gone wrong. Everything's gone wrong. Maybe that's why your husband did that. Perhaps your husband cheated, Trini, because he also found out that that's not your real name. If you're going to have secrets from your partners, it's only going to lead to bad things. That's the big takeaway from this AEW stream. Don't lie to one another, yeah? Bloods on the shoulder of Pac. Don't know where that's come from. Wait, Trini, where are you going? Ernesto said she's leaving home. 4 a.m. Credit to Pac. He can sell. Shame it's for a joke like Cassidy, said Brenton. William sending love to Trini. I think we all are. Oh, it's coming out of his ear. Life experiences. Totes. I used to go around calling myself Britt. Danhausen stops Pac from grabbing the championship to use in the match. Forearm strike. Danhausen goes down. Goes Danhausen. What's he doing? Putting his hands on him? Oh, he's got the hammer in his hands. Pac's going under the ring. He grabs another hammer. Where's the ref gone? Where's the ref gone? Oh, the ref's in there. Strike by Orange Cassidy. The hammer's down. Oh, my God. What's going on? He's really bleeding, says Adam. Orange Cassidy's picked up the hammer. If I had a hammer. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know if that's how it goes, actually. You've got to have a sense of humor in this world, said Elizabeth. You do, Elizabeth. You really do. Otherwise, what are we doing here, eh? Orange punch by Orange Cassidy. Is this the end? Is this the end? What a match. What a struggle, says Tony Schiavone. And another one as well. 1, 2, 3. New champion. And freshly squeezed. Believable. Well, there we go. Someone asked earlier, will Orange Cassidy win a singles title? It happened later in the show. The best of America just beat the best of the UK. Super sad. That was a good match. I don't care about the OC haters. Besides, Pac is still a trios champion, says Heather. Dark Knight said, I'm shattered. Is this a 2 or a 3 hour show? Just Nick said, what a match. Shame an American has got an all-Atlantic belt. Ha ha. 420 Brenton said 5. Gary said, what a load of bull. Not happy. My rating is 0. Justin said, joy, happiness, OC. This title reign will be pulpy, said Kevin. Mass Chief said, I called it. Tony likes OC. Remember him beating Cole. Dylan gives it a 7. Rick gives it a 7.75. Heather gives it a 7.75. William said, my vote is a 5.5. But I did enjoy the show more than usual. 7 said 1 Minute Wrestler. Solid 8, said Just Nick. We've got bonus footage. Bonus footage right now. Bonus footage. Oh my God, it's happening. Look, there's a sign in the crowd. Ah! The pain. The pain. Bonus footage not seen in America. That was juicy, guys. That was juicy. We just got some juicy. I might have to do a separate video on what I just saw. I saw that the best friends were in the ring. We cut to a sign in the crowd. That sign was an Orange Cassidy sign. And some extra footy. Extra footy. What a tease, says Kevin. Not me. I didn't do it. It was better than some Dynamite episodes, but not the best one out of 10, said John. 7.6, better than some Dynamite episodes, but not the best one out of 10. Dark Knight said, I'm going to give it a 3. Mr. Unfamiliar gives it a 5. Danelle gives it a 7. Steve with a 1. Darth Vader with a 5. John said 10 for the bonus footage. Heather said, have a good night. I'm going to go to Twitch. Have fun, Heather. Ron said, Orange deserves a title win. Do you agree the crowd was hot tonight? Definitely. I thought the crowd were excellent. Excellent. Remember when we got nearly halfway through a match of Rampage taping? Yes, I do. Yeah. That was a few weeks back, wasn't it? All these people giving the show a 4 or lower give awful WWE shows a 10. Daisy's always a tease. Listen, what am I meant to do? That's all I've got right now. Thank you for watching. That sucks, says Justin. I know. That's just took my score down by 20 points. I was joking with my 3, said Dark Knight. Let him in, says 7. 0 for me, says Tim. 6, said Zoom Station. Matt said, who sits through 2 hours of a show and then gives it a 3? Would you do it for a regular show? Well, you would if, like, I'm thinking if Walking Dead, I love Walking Dead, and I have not seen the most recent 2 episodes. Yeah, so you shut your faces. But, yeah, if they put out a bad show, I would still stick with it. Obviously, if it's bad after bad after bad after bad after bad, there comes a point where you go, oh, I'm done. So there would come a point where you just wouldn't watch anymore. But yeah, if it's once in a while. I mean, look, I personally don't think this was a bad show. I'm not feeling that main event. I think the count out thing was silly. So I think that was silly. I think like some of the spots in these matches, like that main event, was a bit off. Like the bits where he puts his hands in his pockets and he's doing the little kicks and like, he's kind of making fun of him. Granted, when he did go to do the big kick, thankfully that did not like land because, I mean, he took forever doing that. And thankfully they had the sense to have Orange Cassidy move out the way, basically. So that was good. But like, I don't know, the referee just ruins the credibility of the match, really. Going out and having a go at Pac, but Pac still gets a hammer and brings it into the ring. And I don't know, I just don't need all that skullduggery. I don't need that kind of stuff. I would be much more into it if it was just two guys in that main event for that title, like going back and forth, having a good match. So main event wasn't really to my taste, but Jericho Danielson was good. Billy Gunn against Swerve was good. Women's tag match had a nice pace to it. I thought that was all right. MJF promo, as we said, so Toronto crowd were brilliant. So, yeah, I think for me, this probably does end up settling on about a 6.75 to a 7 for me personally. If I'm generous, I'll go 7. Go 7 for this one. So, yeah, plenty of positives, but definitely some things that I think could be tightened. Let's put it that way. I think they could tighten up a few things. But worth the watch. A fun Wednesday night. How was AEW? It was a fun Wednesday night. I wonder if my score would have been higher if he hadn't have announced Renee before. Could you imagine if the show started and Renee just walked out? And we didn't even know, because I hadn't heard any rumors about Renee signing. So we started the stream a few minutes late because Toni flipping put it out in a tweet and told us an hour before the show that Renee was All Elite. That, I'm guessing, was to spike the rating and get people to tune in. I'm guessing, if you had forgot that Dynamite was on tonight, then that news might have made you go, oh, wow, she's signed. Oh, yeah, it's Wednesday. Maybe we should tune in type thing. So, yeah, I knew she'd signed. It was still great to see her at the start of the show, but it would have had a bit more impact if we hadn't have been told literally an hour before. But I don't know. It's good. It's great. I like Renee being in. I think it's a really good signing. Does AEW need to do more international shows or concentrate on US? No, it needs to do more international shows. It needs to come to the UK. There's a AEW fan base over here that's not been able to go and see a single show over here. They've not even done a house show tour, let alone a Dynamite or anything. They haven't even popped over to do like some house shows, like, do a big show in at the O2. Or if you don't think you can sell out the O2, we've got other venues that you can come and do, like, Bournemouth, or I'm sure there's like some smaller venues, York Hall or something like that in London that you could do. Roundhouse. I think Roundhouse can hold. Don't know how much Roundhouse can hold, but we've got venues of all sizes, guys. We really do. It's not just the O2 and Wembley. So yeah, they could come over and do some stuff. There's not really much of an excuse. I think it's probably because when they do finally come over, they want to do it right, and maybe they want to start with a big show at Fulham or something. So they need to come over. And I've got to think, like, if this is the first time in Canada, that's long overdue. I don't know where else they could go, in all fairness. I don't know where else AEW are getting some numbers, Only Toni would know that. I don't know how big they are in India, but wrestling is big in India. So eventually going there would probably make sense. And maybe Australia, Sydney might make sense. Mexico. I mean, they do have the AAA tag champs. So, and Kenny has been in AAA. So I've got to think Mexico, Japan, you'd have to think would be interested. So, I mean, the Japanese love Kenny and the Bucks and, Hangman and whatever. So, yeah, no, they need to go international. What does Renee bring? She's awful at commentary. Her interviews are generic and mid. She's no Mean Gene. Well, no one's Mean Gene. I mean, if you're going to compare her to that, that's the highest bar. I mean, in my mind, he's the greatest of all time. When it comes to who is the greatest backstage interview of all time, it's Mean Gene Okerlund. But I think we've seen a lot of bad backstage interviewers. We've seen a lot of very bland backstage interviewers that just don't really have much in the way of personality. Backstage interviewing, it's not a great deal that you can add to it. There's not a great deal that you can bring, but she really shines in her hosting duties. So if you have got her hosting kickoff shows, if you've got like a talking smack type show, or you've got some stuff on YouTube that you need hosting, like just having someone like her around is really, really important because she is very good at it. She comes across as really likable. I think a lot of wrestling fans have got like a warmth towards her, they've got like a good connection with her. I really like her. I mean, I don't disagree. Her commentary, I don't know that her commentary was bad. I just think she needed to believe in herself a bit more and gain a bit more experience. So yeah, look, you could put her on commentary for the women's matches, but I don't think she wants to do that. So I don't think they'll do that. But if they did put her on commentary for the women's matches, I wouldn't be against it. I would be down for giving it a go. Perhaps what you would want to do is try her on Dark and Elevation first during some women's matches and see if it's any good. But as I said, I don't think they're going to go that way anyway. But you've only got to look at Marquez to see what a bad backstage interviewer is like, He's very wooden, very stiff. Just, no. Just ask the question, stand there looking awkward, and just we can level up from that. And so we have with Renee Young, or Renee Paquette. So she is a big improvement on that. But as I said, I think she really comes into her own during kickoff shows, during like other hosting duties. I mean, maybe there is a bit of a lack of a show for her to front. When she was in WWE, she could do a lot of network things. And she could present, I think she was presenting, some kind of Hall of Fame thing. I remember her sitting down with Mean Gene and they presented a Hall of Fame network thing. And she's also done Unfiltered on the network as well. And she hosted Talking Smack. And she did backstage interviews. So, yeah, look, I think she's a good acquisition. I think she will bring a lot of credibility and a definite step up from Alex Marquez. She didn't want to be on commentary, said Rick. That's true. I think Jim Ross should retire and Renee should replace him at the broadcast desk, says John. Darv said, so she doesn't bring anything to the wrestling show then. Well, no, that's not true. I just said she's a step up from Alex Marquez, who's backstage. So she does. She's a step up from Alex Marquez. She's a very good, reliable, warm, asks good questions, likable personality for those backstage moments. So she brings that. She brings experience and warmth and legitimacy. She's legitimate as a backstage interviewer. She is, to many people right now, seen as the best that's available. In my eyes, she's the best that's available when you want a backstage interviewer. So the fact that she's now with AEW is good. And not only that, but she's got a good fan base and following that she's crafted herself because she's been very vocal online and she's been building her own little things. So she's got her own fans. So she might even potentially bring in a few extra fans that maybe haven't been watching the product, but they like her and the people that she has been talking with and reaching out to. So the fact that AEW think they're biggest wrestling company in the UK and not even been here is a joke, says James. Have you seen Ariel Helwani's comments about AEW and Tony Khan? I did, yeah. We spoke about them at the start. Not to mention, Vince was telling her not to talk too much while she was on commentary. What did you think of Hangman slugging himself during the promo? Slugging himself, what does that mean? I wasn't massively taken with the Hangman promo. I think that even the crowd weren't. They were chanting MJF during it. I don't know. I feel like Hangman's in a bad place at the moment because of the fact that he was heavily responsible for the drama that's happened with the Elite and obviously CM Punk. You know, CM Punk spoke out because of what Hangman did, and that it kind of, you know, went into the EVPs, and you know, they then went and confronted him. Then you get the backstage brawl. Hangman plays a massive part in all of that, and I don't think the fans are really feeling that warm towards him at the moment. So him coming out there and trying to speak from the heart, saying that he's got nothing, you know, apart from this one shot and everything. There were some decent lines in there. There was definitely moments where I was like, I can see what he's saying and where he's coming from. Like, he's got nothing else. This is his one shot. But I don't know. I feel like damage done a little bit at the moment. Maybe we need to put a bit of distance between everything that's gone on and Hangman getting a title shot. I'm not really feeling it. I don't think I'm alone in that. It just feels like the timing's not quite right for him. Hangman's lost his smile, said James. I tune out when Hangman comes on. Jordan said, I'm just surprised it took her this long to sign with them. It was pretty much inevitable, said Jordan. Hector said, just can't have her getting super kicked by the Bucks. But need some female broadcasters. Yeah, she's very good. Your beanie matches your shirt. Yeah, I did notice that. I am a bit too grey today, aren't I? Hangman missed his moment at All Out a few years back, sadly. He won't regain that hype, says Rick. Right, let's have a look and see what you lot thought, because we normally stick around about 15 minutes. And yeah, looks like people fairly enjoyed it. I mean, 33 went 7-7-7-5. 29 went 8-10. 22 went 6-6-7-5. 15% went 5-7-5 or below. So 212 votes. Not a bad sample size. I think around once you get around kind of like 250, that seems to be a good sample size. So yeah, 33% 7-7-5, 29% 8-10. Yeah, seems like people enjoyed it. It's good. The guy who started the public beef gets rewarded whilst everyone else is home is beep. How would you feel if Serena Deeb did commentary? Oh, I'd be down for that. Yeah, I'll be down for that. I really feel that the women, and this isn't just with AEW, but straight across the board, they need a bit more investment. Like, even with WWE, you tend to get, like, you know, the women's championships, but you don't tend to get really secondary feuds. I mean, Rhea's getting a bit of spotlight at the moment, but obviously the story's not so much focused on her. It's Judgment Day, it's Dominic, it's Finn, it's all of them. And there's a little spotlight there, but you know, Bailey, Damage Control, that's around the title. You know, she's going after Bianca. Ronda, Liv, obviously that's around the title. I mean, to be honest, I can't really think of anything else they're doing with women that's away from the titles. Even Damage Control have got the women's tag belt, so even the women's tag storyline is around the Damage Control Bailey Bianca story. It's all kind of mashed up. So if you think that, like, the women aren't really getting much in the way of secondary stories, and we don't have females on Raw commentary for Raw, SmackDown, or AEW Dynamite, or AEW Rampage. We've literally just had the first ever women's one-on-one ladder match on the main roster for WWE. Like, sometimes you can fall into the trap of thinking, well, the women have had so much recently. You know, now they've got their own Money in the Bank, they've got their own Royal Rumble, they've got all of this, and they've got all of that. It can be quite easy to forget that there's still, like, you know, work to be done. And I think there is still like work to be done. Part of it, you need the right talent. You do need the right talent, but some of it, I think you can. And there are still changes we can make. We shouldn't have waited this long for the first women's one-on-one ladder match on the main roster. There was no excuse for that. We could have easily found a match to have done it in, right? Maybe it just didn't cross anyone's mind. Perhaps no one thought about it. Perhaps no one thought. But we probably should have done one before now. And I don't mind trying Serena Deeb or some woman going onto commentary, even if it is just to join the commentary team for the female matches. The only thing I would say is it would be nice if it was the same voice all the time. I think if it's someone that's in a feud, like how sometimes you get Bianca joining commentary or Becky joining commentary. They're not really there to be commentators, are they? They're just really there to have the commentators interview them during a match. They're not there calling the action, adding to the match. So I don't count that. I'm talking about someone like Beth Phoenix that would come out and join commentary just for the female matches. And it's the same name, the same person that does that all the time. And she's not there as part of a feud, part of a match. She is there. The problem with Serena Deeb doing it would be that because she's an active star, she might give you the kayfabe perspective. So she might come out and not actually call the action down the middle. She might come out and be the heel that she is and put the spin on it. So that would be my only concern with Deeb. And plus also, Deeb might be involved in some of those matches and then someone else would have to do it. So I'd be down for trying it because I think she would definitely bring something. I don't know what the tone of her voice is like when the action gets exciting. What would she sound like when she's enthused? Can she call the action nice and clear? I don't know about those kinds of things. And until we try it, I really don't know. But my concern would be that she would approach it from a kayfabe angle. And I don't know. I think Renee would be disconnected from it, you see. She would be someone that's not really got a dog in the fight. She'd probably lean towards the faces, of course, and want to call it like a lot of the commentators do. If a heel does something bad, they'll say, I can't believe they've done that. Dastardly, blah, 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 blah. That's fine. But I feel like Deeb would, she would kind of have her storylines like being woven in as well and might just get in the way a little bit. I'm down for it, though. I really can't see why that's a problem to have a female perspective on there. I mean, I understand people going, we don't need it. I can understand that. But I just don't think it sends a very good message to like the female fans that they're just not represented on Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Rampage, Dynamite on the commentary tables. It's backstage interviews and that's it. Stand there, look pretty, smile, ask a few questions. So yeah, I would like to see that happen. I mean, we had Beth in NXT and she was fantastic. She was brilliant. I thought she was really good, really, really good. And she kind of got involved in the storylines at times as well. She really was a big part of the Indie Dexter story. Like, she was loving the romance and everything, and that's not something guys can do. I don't think that male commentators are very good in those moments because, like, the lovey-dovey stuff, we can't really portray that, can we? Because we're guys. It's a bit different when you've got, like, Beth going, oh, this is so beautiful. And, like, you believe when she says those things that she's loving it. And she's like, oh, her moment. This is a special moment. And I thought she added a lot to the Indie Dexter stuff, more than if you had a couple of guys that were there. So that's why it, needs to be maybe the right moments. But yeah, there's definitely things that a female can add to commentary. They are there to make you listen to commentary more, said Rick. Did you see Roxanne's tweet about Bray? No. What was your moment of the night? Moment of the night was maybe... that's hard. The one that comes to mind is Garcia, because I didn't see it come in, and I thought Jericho Danielson was having quite a good match. And then when Garcia jumps in and does that, it was quite the surprise. And I actually thought I'd been very critical before the show about Garcia because I don't care if he wants to be a sport entertainer or a wrestler. Just make your mind up. Do you know what I mean? We've got bigger things going on in AEW. If you want to join Jericho or join Danielson, I don't care. Just make a decision, man. Right? So for him to now do something unexpected and decisive, do you know what I mean? Like, this was potentially, and I'm guessing it was, a plan all along. And he was never conflicted. And he always wanted to stay with Chris Jericho. I'm guessing that's what it's going to be. So for the payoff there, I think that's really good. And I didn't see it coming. So credit where it's due. Credit where it's due. So I think I might go the Garcia. I might go Garcia. What did Garcia do? He attacked Danielson during the match. He came in and he all looked soft. I mean, he's looked really weak and feeble, and that's been frustrating. But tonight he nailed him with a belt, and looked vicious and dare I say a bit cool. So yeah, much better for him. WWE needs female mid-card belts like TBS, says Jordan. Timothy, shout out to you. Sonny said Roxanne tweeted that she might ask for Wyatt 6 for help on SmackDown. So we might see her and Bray during SmackDown. No. She's just trying to get some of that sheen. Bray has not come back to mess around with Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade. We've got bigger fish to fry here. Like, we need to be introduced to a new family and all that kind of stuff. So, no. Brett Phoenix needs to be back on commentary. Yeah, I think she was the one that decided she didn't want to do it anymore, which was a real shame. That was a real shame. Timothy said, I don't think I'm asking too much when I asked, let's get days to 500,000. Yes, we can do it tonight. Come on. Tell your friends, tell your family. Sonny says, Yeah, I just think a lot that happens on social media is just designed to get your attention, get you talking about them. And, I will be amazed if she has any interaction with him, because that's such a big segment, him coming back. We've got to find out about like his family, potentially a new faction, what he's come back for, what he's setting his targets on. There's so much to explore. I just can't see any time. Like, maybe if he had been in for a while and hadn't really got much going on, then I'd be like, maybe. But man, he's a busy boy right now. He's a busy boy. I like the idea of mixed tag belts. Integrate the men and the women's rosters better, said List of Jericho. Philip said, how did you feel about AEW? Are you satisfied? Yeah, I feel a little frustrated with it because I find myself watching the show, and I mean, largely there's, some good things there. It's kind of like this card beforehand. I mean, look, Jericho Danielson. That's great. Jericho Danielson. But there's always a little niggle that's connected to it. Pac OC, like, I don't know. There wasn't much in the way of... that didn't grab me so much. And then, like, as we've already spoke during the main event, there's a couple of things that are a bit, like the count-out thing, and you go... Billy Gunn Swerve was great. Women's tag, fine. Fine women's match. Jack Perry Luchasaurus, there's a few niggles there. It's like you can see what they're trying to achieve with it, but there's just a couple of things. Like, maybe it's just gone on a bit long. Maybe there's been a few twists and turns too many. Perhaps like Jungle Boy's promos, when he's been given that opportunity, haven't like landed as impactful as you would want. And so there's always just, I find with AEW, like, I see what they're reaching for. I see what they're trying to do, but I think they just like fall short of it. And I don't think they fall short of it by a million miles. I don't think they, try to do like a 10 out of 10 show, but it's a 1. I feel like they're aiming for a show that's like an 8.5, but for me, it normally settles about a 7. So, and I just like that seems to be week after week after week after week. So I satisfied, I think, is a good word. I do watch it and feel like I got something from it and feel satisfied, but I don't know that it gets my heart racing. Let's put it that way. I don't know that find myself on a regular basis like freaking out about it and like, do you know what I mean? I don't find myself really getting lost in it, and I do want to. But I mean, I'm just watching it, and what will be, you know. So there's been times where they've definitely got me, and I've been lost in it, but just not really much at the moment. So let's see where it all leads and where we get to. So Master Chief said, I would put a mask on Jungle Boy, put him out on Rampage, make him the Cruiserweight champion. He would never leave Rampage. Boomer said Chelsea versus Bianca versus Ronda. Master Chief said, I hate mixed tag matches, but I do like women's tag belts in AEW. James said, no one wants mixed tag belts because people hate intergender wrestling, even though it's great. Timothy said, I'm going to be honest, AEW action is most of the time satisfies me more than WWE, just saying. Jim said, WWE has 3 women's singles champions. They don't need another. Timothy said, ultimate goal, let's make Days the biggest WWE channel of YouTube. Not asking much, no. No, that's not asking much at all. Not in the land of wrestle talks and cultaholics and what culture wrestlings. I don't think we'll ever get in amongst those giants. But we hold our own. We hold our own. We have a bit of fun and we hold our own. And I appreciate people joining us. And on that bombshell, it feels like a good time to wrap things up. So, yeah, I did find, actually, before we do run away, I did find the match card for that show I was talking about. I know it's not the most interesting thing in the world, but seeing as I found it, I might as well show you. So this was Birmingham, NEC Arena, and is the date on here? Let me have a look. Dates 21st of June, 1995. Now, I'm not saying this is the first one I went to, because I was fortunate enough to go to a few, and I do remember going to one in 94, but this is 95. Birmingham, and I definitely went to this. Because I've got pictures of these wrestlers. So I was in the crowd. It'd be great if I knew how many people actually went to this show, but I don't think it gives you like an attendance. But Duke the Dumpster Drozy against Jean-Pierre Lafitte, wasn't it? Jean-Pierre Lafitte. Jean-Pierre, let's have a look. Jean-Pierre is now PCO. Isn't that amazing? PCO. So PCO against Duke the Dumpster Drozy was the opening of this show. Then we got Men on a Mission against the Head Shrinkers. Then we got Alondra Blaze taking on Bertha Faye. And as I said, I've got pictures of both of those in the ring. Shawn Michaels, got a picture of him. He took on Bray Wyatt's dad in Erwin R. Shyster. Then I got Adam Bomb against King Kong Bundy. Do you remember I said I saw King Kong Bundy? Well, he lost to Adam Bomb. Then we got the Smoking Guns against the Blue Twins, Eli and Jacob Blue. They would have been great with Bray Wyatt back in the day. They would have been brilliant. The Blue Twins. Then we've got Bret Hart beating Hakushi. And that wasn't the main event. The main event was The Undertaker beating Karma. So I can't say that's the first show I went to, but it's certainly a show I've got pictures from. And there we go. I was there in 95 during the New Generation. Having a great time, actually. Had a great time. Only person I ever wanted to see at these shows was The Undertaker. And he was in the main event of that one. So that is a long time ago now. A long time ago. Isn't it crazy that like PCO was there and Billy Gunn was there and they're still competing? Like, that's insane, isn't it? Tim said, I'm surprised at how many names are still with us. Yeah. Mash Chief said, I could send you my first card. Sting, Flair, Vader. All right. All right. Oh, yeah, you might have seen these people, but I saw Sting and Vader. And, all right, it wasn't a competition, yeah? Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Appreciate the support. See you again next time. Bye for now.